You show your support.
Wear the shirts with pride.
You back our foxes.
In the moments that matter the most.
A county steeped in tradition.
Decorated in triumph.
Where the lows only elevate the highs.
So many moments have mattered in the past.
They are why we love the game.
We want you to be there for the ones that are yet to come.
Be immersed in the passion.
Be a part
of the moments that matter.
Oh, big shot. Oh, bowled it.
That's a huge hit. He does connect with that one. 6 runs. Brilliant catch.
Runs in and bowled him.
Bowled. This one just keeps a little bit low. A happy Callum Parkinson.
You show your support.
Wear the shirts with pride.
You back our foxes.
In the moments that matter the most.
A county steeped in tradition.
Decorated in triumph.
Where the lows only elevate the highs.
So many moments have mattered in the past.
They are why we love the game.
We want you to be there for the ones that are yet to come.
Be immersed in the passion
Be a part.
of the moments that matter.
Oh, big shot. Oh, bowled it.
That's a huge hit. He does connect with that one. 6 runs. Brilliant catch.
Runs in and bowled him.
Bolt. This one just keeps a little bit low. A happy Callum Parkinson.
You show your support.
Wear the shirts with pride.
You back our foxes.
In the moments that matter the most.
A county steeped in tradition.
Decorated in triumph.
Where the lows only elevate the highs.
So many moments have mattered in the past.
They are why we love the game.
We want you to be there for the ones that are yet to come.
Be immersed in the passion.
Be a part
of the moments that matter.
Oh, big shot. Oh, bowled it.
That's a huge hit. He does connect with that one. 6 runs. Brilliant catch.
Runs in and bowled him.
Bolt. This one just keeps a little bit low. A happy Callum Parkinson.
Has changed. The captain has changed. The 2 main figureheads that were here on Tuesday night are changed as Ackerman comes in, and back goes Vasconcelos and over to the leg side, tries to whip this away on the leg side, hits it straight to mid-on. There is no run, just the 2 runs off the over ahead of the final ball. It's a healthy crowd in at Grace Road tonight as Ackerman is up to the wicket. He bowls, tosses this one up. That's a good first over. They're going to scamper through for a single. There's a throw at the stumps, but it will just be 3 off the opening over then for Northamptonshire Steelbacks, who are 7th on 10 points. They're pretty much out themselves, Richard, but if they certainly lose tonight, they are out.
I think if one of those mid-table sides put together a run of 2 or 3 wins at the end of the group stages, they've got a chance, haven't they? So they won't have given up on it yet.
What harms Northamptonshire is that they've played 12 games.
Yeah, so they have to win these last 2 to have
any hope.
Even the faintest outside chance. So the outgoing spin both ends. It's going to be Michael Finan, the left arm medium fast bowler, who's going to open the bowling for the Foxes from the Bennett end. He's going to be bowling to the left-handed Ricardo Vasconcelos, and Peter Hanscom has posted a slip. He's anticipating a little bit of swing under the cloud. Well, maybe for a ball or 2 it will. In comes Finan and bowls. It does swing, but slowly and wide, and Finan, not for the first time this season, turns round to see the umpire with both arms extended. I'll check how many wides that Michael Finan has bowled so far this season, but there's been quite a fair few of them. I think he bowled 6 in the last game. So that last over seemed to go on forever, didn't it? In he comes. Past umpire Adnan outside off stump, swings. Vasconcelos swings at it as well, but misses it. Short, stocky figure. Left arm doesn't really carry through on this pitch, and Northampton will have to adjust to that. I'm sure they've done their research, watched the last 2 games that were played on this pitch, and they know that the ball isn't coming on. Leicestershire preparing wickets to suit their spinners, to squeeze, to make it hard for the batsman to get away, and that a score of 170 is a pretty good score. In goes Fine and bowls on off stump. Vasconcelos defends out into the off side. Vian Mulder fields. Mulder still unable to bowl, as far as we're aware. They reckon it would be at least a month after his side injury was diagnosed. We've only had a couple of weeks of that month. Hoping he might be fit to bowl against Worcester at Oakham. In goes Fine and bowls short, wide, outside off stump. Vasconcelos cracks it away through point. Quickly to the ball is Tom Scriven, gets his throw away on the bounce to Harry Swindles, back behind the stumps, but Vasconcelos and Gay comfortably making 2, 6 without loss.
Looks like a difficult pitch to get the ball away in the early stages.
Yeah, it's as the last 2 games, and I think a score of 160, you're in the game for sure. It's not like the pitch at the Oval yesterday. In goes Fine and bowls outside off stump, cut by Vasconcelos. Again, Scriven has to run round the boundary rope, this time in the entirely the opposite direction. Does so, but the result is the same. Vasconcelos picks up a couple, moves on to 6, 8 without loss. Now Middlesex chasing down 256 against Surrey yesterday.
Yeah, second highest. 253, I think they chased down.
Unreal, wasn't it?
Second highest chase ever in T20 cricket.
500 runs in 40 overs for the spectators at the Oval yesterday. There won't be tonight. In goes Fine and bowls Fuller this time. Stays in his crease. If the throw hits, it could be a close one. Worked by Vasconcelos out towards mid-wicket. Rishi Patel picked up and through, but missed the stumps. Vasconcelos making his ground. Moves on to 7, 9 without loss. Club anticipating a reasonably decent crowd in tonight, maybe around about 4,000, and they are still coming in. I think once people realise that we aren't going to get a shower, it is a very pleasant summer's evening. Nights are drawing in, aren't they?
Friday night, it's the best night to come out, and
we are past the longest day. Just one day past. Floodlights are on because it is a little bit grey overhead. Finan is in to finish his over. Hopefully goes past the outside edge, bounce and swing, and a good delivery. A little bit short, and Gay fenced at it, had a little poke at it outside off stump, didn't get anything on it, bounced through to Swindles. End of the second over then. Vasconcelos for 7, Gay just the single. 9 without loss after 2 overs. Sol Budinger, Leicestershire's 12th man, goes running off. I don't know why he was running on, taking something out there. And new captain, or acting captain, whatever we call him, Peter Hanscom, is going to continue with Colin Ackerman.
it has been. I mean, you look at the amount of captains Leicestershire have had across 3 formats. Colin Ackerman comes down, does Vasconcelos. He just brings his length back, and there has a bit of spin. He came charging down the track, did the South African, and Ackerman read it. All he could do was squirt it away into the offside. No run. Ackerman, 1.1 overs, 0 for 3. Up he comes, and back goes Vasconcelos. They cannot get the ball away, the Northants players. So a good start from them so far. 9 for no loss, 2.2 overs. Ackerman past the umpire, going away from us. He tosses this one up. There's an inside edge. Barely seen a shot middled so far. As Mulder fields out on the far side. Scriven, apologies. Scriven are out at deep square leg. So 10 for no loss, a single added to the total. Ackerman, black hair. up to the wicket, tosses it up, down the pitch he comes, it's hit high in the air now. I'm not sure this is going to go all the way for 6, but it's beaten the fielder and it stops, it plugs in the ground. Some brilliant fielding from Patel, who watched the ball go over his head, and it almost bounced vertically up in the air afterwards, about a foot short of the boundary, and he scooped it back and saved the 4. But he's hurt himself in the process. He's limping back to his position at mid-off, and he really is uncomfortable. Ackerman is wandering over to go and have a chat with him. He's saying he's okay, I think. Interesting day this for Ackerman. Announced it, he's joining Durham next season. That was announced today. Was the captain on Tuesday against Nottinghamshire. He is no longer the T20 captain. As Ackerman comes in, bowls, and down the pitch he comes. That is going to be 4. 1 bounce and 4. As that races away over mid-on this time. Just latched on to the short pace, to the short pitch of the ball rather. And Vasconcelos came charging down the pitch and baseball style really clubbed it down the ground for 4 runs. I'm trying to think, is that the first boundary we've had today? Ackerman bowls, back goes Vasconcelos and gets 4 more. This time through point, a bit of an orthodox cut shot really. He gave himself a bit of room by moving over towards the leg side, but again that length just dragged back slightly. So a poor end to the over from a Leicestershire perspective. Vasconcelos moving on to 12 as a result of it, and after a relatively slow start the Steelbacks have moved on to 21 for no loss after 3. You're listening to live T20 cricket between Leicestershire and Northamptonshire. We had an exclusive chat with Sean Jarvis. If you haven't heard it, after a dramatic few days here at Grace Road, then you can head to BBC Sounds and go back to about 6 on this programme, and you can find it. We'll upload it as a podcast as well for you to listen to.
Finan will continue. He'll bowl a second over from the Bennett end. In he comes, bowls to Gay down the leg side, and that is another Finan wide. Gay, tall left-hander, cross with himself, not get anything on that, just trying to help it on its way down to fine leg. The men out. Parkinson windmilling his arms at third man, and Welsh in front of the Stenson Benno stand, just to one side of the meet out there, just behind square on the leg side. So Finan has to start his over again. Comes bounding down the slope. Gay makes room. It's a full toss, driven back to him. Finan dives to his right, makes a good clean stop with his right hand, makes as though to hurl the ball at the stumps. Vasconcelos had quickly gone back to his ground, and so there was no run. Well, Budinger is out there now at mid-on, so I'm guessing Patel probably came off. Did he, just to make sure that he's not too shaken up and all is well? Yes, he did. Rehan Ahmed about to join the England squad. I think he goes to join them on Sunday. In goes Finan, bowls outside off stump. A horrible feel for the ball from Gay. It was pretty wide. Got away with it. Umpire Adnan generous on that occasion. Hassan Adnan standing at the Bennett end. Rob White standing at the pavilion end here at Grace Road as a milky sun doesn't exactly burst through the clouds, but makes its presence felt. Gentle breeze from the west, extending the flags on the poles along the Milligan Road. In goes Finan, bowls Fuller this time, looking to drive. Had to dig it out a bit, Gay there, then sprinted down the far end, made his ground, helped by the fact that the throw from mid-off bounced well over the top of the stumps from Pete Hanscom. At mid-off, 23 without loss, Gay 5. He has yet to come to terms with the lack of pace in the pitch, the way the ball isn't really coming on. Vasconcelos beginning to find his range, a little bit helped by a couple of short balls from Ackerman in his previous over. Finan is in, short, and a bit of pace about it this time, and leaning back, tried to dab it away. Vasconcelos didn't get anything on it. Swindles couldn't take the ball cleanly, bounced out of his gloves a few feet to his right, and Dubai is taken.
Very strange pitch so far. Vasconcelos has, as you say, found a bit more pace or a bit more form in it, but that was more
Skidded
aggressive,
through
wasn't
a bit.
it?
Came through a bit. Yeah, looks a bit too paced, which is no fun for the batsman necessarily. Finan is in to Gay, stepping across, feeling for one outside off stump and missing it again. Much better from Finan, that sort of delivery. Length and a little bit of movement away from the left-hander. Gay struggling. He's on 5 off 8. Vasconcelos 16 off 15. 1 ball to go in Finan's over. He's sort of come back well from the wide early. He's conceded 8 so far from those 1.5 overs. And he comes, bowls to Gay, who's working it in the air through mid-wicket. Mid-wicket dives to his left. Patel can't get there. Mulder can't get there. In fact, he's picked his spot beautifully, really. Gay there, because he's got it past Mulder, and it's going to run out too deep mid-wicket. Welsh can't get there either, so poor end to the over from Finan's point of view. Pitched it up, but he pitched it up on leg stump. Didn't swing, and Gay just turned his wrists on it. It was in the air, but Mulder couldn't get there. And it ran away to mid-wicket for 4, so 28 off 4 overs. Gay now on 9 off 9. Vasconcelos on 16 off 15. This is what we saw, Adam, over the last 2 games here, didn't we? Batters couldn't go at much more than a run of a ball, really. They struggled to come to terms with the slight oddness of the pitch. And Leicestershire will be hoping Callum Parkinson and Rehan Ahmed prove as effective as they did in those previous 2 games.
Yeah, it looks like the sort of pitch where slow pace will help a huge amount. Yeah. It was
take the pace off.
It was Mullaney, wasn't it, for Nottinghamshire here on Tuesday. He really changed the game with his medium pacers. Callum Parkinson will bowl from the pavilion end. He bowls, and beats him outside off stump. Vasconcelos. It was tight to being a wide. I wonder, we've got the replay in front of us just here. I wonder whether that might be right on the line there. Watching it now, it was right on the line. Just for a wide as Parkinson comes in. That is a wide, and it's possibly going to go for 4 wides. No, it's going to be cut off. It'll be just a single, in fact, as there's a short third man who runs fine to collect the ball. That was a real loosener from Parkinson. You don't see him bowl many deliveries like that. So the field at the moment, the 2 men out in the power play. Ackerman is down at long on. They've got a deep mid-wicket too. As Parkinson up to the wicket bowls, and this is driven for 4. Down the ground, he didn't connect with it again, but he gave it enough force to just carve it over mid-on, or just to over and just wide of the man there, and it is raced away. That's just seeming to settle in a little bit. Gay hasn't really been able to middle the ball at all, but he's 13 off 10 as Parkinson comes in. He goes to the same shot, gets the same result. That was better connected with, completely over the head of Mulder this time. That probably was the first shot he's middled, and it races away for 4 more. That was in the slot from Parkinson, who has not started this over particularly well, and that moves the score on to 38 for no loss. Gay on to 17.
If he's going to bowl there, he's going to have a long off.
Parkinson moves away from us. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and that's possibly another wide. Yes, this time there's no extras conceded on top of the wide. Swindle stopped the ball. Parkinson, one of the trio, and who announced that they were leaving, and one of the duo to join Durham next season. Parkinson bowls. Is a flash drive. His appeal from Parkinson, but for caught behind, but not given by the umpire. 39 for no loss is the score. 4.4 overs have gone on what is a mild but breezy night in Leicestershire. No need for your jumper. As in comes Parkinson. Tosses this one up. Oh, and he's got through him, but just misses the stumps. And there's always a slightly chaotic scene behind the stumps when it hits the wicket keeper, but he doesn't collect it. Not sure whether there was a stumping opportunity there, Richard. We're just watching the replay. Oh, there might have been. So Gay's back foot was up in the air. He lost balance. Parkinson, oh, again beats him outside the off stump, and outside the outside edge. End of the over. 17 for Gay, 39 for no loss. Parkinson 11 off that over. Some beauties in that over, and some unusually wide bowling too. Some unusually ordinary stuff from Parkinson.
couple in the slot as well, so I think fair to describe it as a mixed bag. From Callum. One more in the power play. 45-50 is not a bad result from the... I don't think, if you haven't lost any wickets. Yeah, exactly. However, Leicestershire will be hoping they pick up at least one wicket, and that Matt Salisbury will be the man to do it for them. Former Durham man is going to have his first over from the Bennett end down the slight slope here at Grace Road. Bowls very full, almost a full toss, low full toss, and off the back foot. Vasconcelos turns it out towards deep mid-wicket. Nick Welsh comes into field. Just the one run. He wanders down to have a word with his considerably taller partner, Emilio Gay.
He was saying, wasn't he? He sounds like a ballroom dancer, Emilio Gay.
The pair of them, really, don't they?
They do, actually. You're right.
They could be. He's going to check his guard before Matt Salisbury can bowl. Yep, that's middle or whatever. It looks about middle, says umpire Adnan. We are at more or less first slip, albeit 80 yards from the bat. In comes Salisbury over the wicket to Gay, who hits him hard back over straight mid-wicket for a one bounce four. Seeing it all right now, Emilio Gay. He moves on to 21. Found his range in the last couple of overs. Need to while the field is up, and you can hit over them. 21 off 15 for him now. 44 without loss. Hanscom bringing his third man up to the edge of the circle. Parkinson sending Mulder from mid-wicket on the edge of the circle to deep mid-wicket. So both men out, the two men out are on the leg side now. Backward square and mid-wicket. Salisbury is in, bowls straight to Gay, drops it down into the offside. Takes half a step down the pitch as though there might be the possibility of a quick single. Knew there wasn't. It was for form as much as anything, and he possibly heard Vasconcelos saying no. 44 without loss remains the score. Good crowd in the Geary Bar, at the front of the Geary Bar, protected by the nets over there. And of course in the popular seats alongside the meet and in the meet. It is a decent turnout for the final T20 home game of the season. In goes Salisbury, bowls, and Gay turns the delivery off middle and leg gently towards square leg. Stumbles slightly as he sets off for the easy single. Even so, recovers himself and completes that single as Finan runs up from short fine leg to field. Gay on to 22-45 without loss.
2 for 83 off the 9 overs he's bowled before this Salisbury. Been relatively expensive, 9 and over.
He was a bit unlucky last time, wasn't he? Didn't he have a couple of catches dropped? Salisbury is in. He's ramped down to fine leg for a one bounce four. Just stepped across slightly. Vasconcelos, and batters are so good at picking up those shots now, even if they telegraph it. And I don't think he really did there, Vasconcelos. He moved quite late. He didn't step across immediately. Just helped it on its way high over short fine leg, between really short fine leg and the wicket keeper, and bounced just once before crossing the ropes. 49 without loss. Lovely pick-up. Salisbury has gone for 10 from his first 5 deliveries. Again, Hanscom having a chat to him. Rehan Ahmed dancing around in the covers.
Love the crowd noise. There's a shot like that. It's more of a ooh.
It's a sort of
cheer, isn't it?
That's clever.
Yeah.
In goes Salisbury and bowls. He's going to try and repeat it. Salisbury saw him. He did telegraph it that time, and Salisbury followed him. So the ball came straight at him rather than on one side or the other. He tried to sort of help it on its way down through the slips. Didn't really get anything on it. Swindles moved to his left to pick up through the ball at the stumps, although Vasconcelos was in his ground. And it is the end of the over. 49 without loss after 6. And I think in the circumstances, Northants will be reasonably content with that. They've got 2 batters out there, beginning to go nicely, getting used to the lack of pace in the pitch.
Yeah, I think Gay certainly decided that he wasn't going to start timing the ball by nudging and nurdling the ball around. He was going to get it by hitting the ball hard. Just brute strength might get it there, and it's been successful. Big round of applause there. You may have heard it in our effects microphone for Rahan Ahmed. Called up to the England national squad today as cover for Moeen Ali. He's up to the wicket. He bowls. Nice drift on that. Caught! Oh, it was hit into the... It was a bump ball. Well, clearly wasn't the only one who thought that it was driven straight to cover, where it was a good take in the end by Peter Hanscom. But it was a bump ball. Didn't look like that from first slip. Lovely drift from Ahmed though off his first delivery, and he gets a bit of spin off his second as he bowls it just outside off stump, and it comes back in.
50 up for the Steelbacks.
Gay onto 23, Vasconcelos 21 off 19, 6.2 overs. As you can probably hear, there is a nice hum in the crowd. White cloud above, the floodlights on. You may have heard in the background the Hells Angels returning back to base. Reverse sweep, there's an appeal for leg before wicket, but I think there was a faint edge off the bat. I'm going to watch the umpire here, watch what he signals. He signals nothing, so it did come off the bat. An edge fine of the wicket on the offside. Trying to be clever, both Gay and Vasconcelos. Again, when it's difficult to time, those shots behind square are useful. Down the pitch comes Gay and clips that nicely towards mid-wicket, where it's fielded out in the deep by Colin Ackerman. Ahmed got a good chance of playing at Lords. He comes away from us now, drags this one down. That's going to be a leg side wide. That's a bit of a rank ball, really.
On the basis that Moeen won't be fit? Or?
Well, he was struggling, wasn't he, to hold the... Struggling to hold the ball. He cut it. He cut his finger, didn't he? He couldn't seem to grip it. He hadn't bowled a lot of... He hadn't played any test cricket, had he? He hadn't played a lot of four-day cricket. As Ahmed comes in, and this one forces Vasconcelos to go back, and he just pushes it into the leg side. There is no run.
Some suggestion if it's a suitable wicket, they'll play the extra seamer and Root as a part-time spinner.
Ahmed bowls, and this is swept out towards deep backward square leg. Now, you are right that there are multiple options. A, that Moeen Ali can play. B, that they choose a different seamer because it's Lords and the pitch might suit them. But he's got a good chance of playing. He's been called up, you would imagine, to play.
If they find a dry pitch, he's got a chance, hasn't he? When they take the covers off.
Ali didn't do anything remarkable in that opening game at all with bat or ball, and so Ahmed might be the choice. He's certainly the bold pick. He's the pick that has summed up the Bazball era. 54 for no loss then at the end of the 7th over. Gay 24, Vasconcelos 23. Run rate 7.7 at the moment.
Back to Parky, who's coming over the wicket to the left-handed Vasconcelos, who attempts a reverse sweep, doesn't get anything on it. It bounces off Swindle's pads. Bounces the right way as far as the wicketkeeper is concerned, back towards the stumps, albeit not into them. And so no chance of a quick extra being taken. Parkinson is in, drags his length back a bit. Vasconcelos waits for it, works it out wristily towards deep mid-wicket. Mulder comes in. Vasconcelos just loses his footing slightly as he attempts to turn, hoping for the possibility of a second. There was never really one on, so it is just the one, and then he inspects the bottom of the soles of his cricket boots. Make sure all the spikes are clear. 55 without loss. He has to take one. Both batsmen on 24 now. In goes Parkinson, and Gay works him out towards mid-wicket, this time more or less straight to Budinger, who has stayed on for Patel. So looking down to see if I can see Patel in the dugout. I can't see him down there at the moment, so he might just have gone for a little bit of a treatment as Parkinson bowls, and again Vasconcelos can't get it away. It bounces down towards short leg with Swindles in pursuit, and then he gestures sort of slightly annoyedly at his partner there, Vasconcelos, says, what are you going to do? This time he slices up into the air. Top edge should be caught by Finan, and is caught by Finan. Went for the sweep. All he managed to do was top edge. It looped in the air. Very comfortable catch for Finan, who equalled the record for Leicestershire. Individual outfielding record, that is, of catches in the last match against Notts, taking 4 of them. Now he's got another one. He has Vasconcelos caught for 24, and Northampton have lost their first wicket. They're 56 for 1.
He's 6th catch in the T20 Blast. He's got as many as Harry Swindles, who, to be fair, hasn't played all of the games, but he is still the wicketkeeper. Remarkable for Finan. They needed that, Leicestershire, because both Vasconcelos and Gay seemed in. And just got a little bit of bounce from Parkinson, just that little bit extra.
This is only his 5th game.
Yeah.
And Swindles is 8th, so yeah, it's interesting. You don't get too many as a keeper in this, do you, really?
No.
Not too much ball movement, but yeah. He has obviously got a good pair of hands, Michael Finan. Safe pair of hands.
Now, let's play Chris Lynn bingo, shall we? How many is he going to get against Leicestershire?
Well, they've used up 7.5 overs, so hopefully he won't get 100, but you never know. It's not that sort of wicket, is it?
No, it's not. 2 centuries, 150 against Leicestershire in the 3 innings that he's played against them so far. The broad-shouldered Australian surveys the scene. He's got a long off and a long on to start off with as Parkinson comes in and bowls, and I've stolen the ball off you, Richard. I'm sorry.
It's all right. End of the over. Single taken, and he keeps the strike.
It's played down to long off. Richard just, for those on the stream, those listening to us, just turned his head very casually and stared at me then as I commentated on that delivery. End of the over. 57 for 1. Gay 25. Lynn on 1. And by the way, if you want to either hear Sean Jarvis's interview, got an exclusive interview with the Leicestershire Chief Executive after a dramatic couple of days at Leicestershire, then head to the BBC Radio Leicester Twitter page. You can read the quotes. That's at BBC RL Sport. Or you can listen, if you go on BBC Sounds and listen live, go on the listen live, go back to about 6:10, you can hear it. Though some things we don't find out legally, other things we do find out. It's an interesting interview. Ahmed continues, and his first delivery is pitched up and is floated, and Lynn waits and drives handsomely down the ground where he gets a single to long off where Finan is waiting, and he singles in a frustrated manner. Does Finan to the wicketkeeper. I think it's because it bounced twice before it got through to them.
He's got some serious tattoos, hasn't he, Mike Finan? Right down his right arm.
As Ahmed is in, bowls. Down the pitch comes Gay and drives. This is a chase for Finan. Oh, he collects it, well, he stops it. But I did wonder whether the ball might spin back over the boundary rope, but he did do enough. And so it's just a 2 added to the total. Gay on to 27. Started in a rather awkward fashion, Gay. Couldn't time the ball, was poking and feeling around for the delivery, but he's found what he needed to now. So this is a straight delivery from Gay, clipped away into the leg side this time, and there will be a single added. Gay 28 rather off 23. As Ahmed, who has had a mixed tournament with the ball, bowls a slower delivery, and Lynn waits for it to bounce. It didn't spin that much at all, that one, and he just pushes it down the ground for another single.
Whatever, this will be his last appearance then, won't he?
As he bowls, and back goes Gay, moves across his stumps and clips this away into deep mid-wicket. He'll pick up another single. It will be, and I presume he won't play. He's available tonight, but he won't play in the county championship game against Durham starting on Sunday.
You know, he's reporting at Lords. Even if he's 12th man, he'll be there all week, won't he? But
he moves away from us now, up to the wicket he bowls, and this is heaved into the leg side. The fielder is chasing, but he won't get there. It's a 1 bounce 4 down towards Cow Corner. Ahmed is furious. He stamps his foot, and he's still angry with himself. He clapped his hands together in a frustrated way. He's now practicing the delivery he should have bowled. End of the over, and to be fair, you can understand why he was frustrated. It was 6 off the over before that final ball, and it goes up to 10. It goes from an okay to an expensive over as a result of that boundary. 67 for 1 is the score. Lynn on 7, Gay 29. We've had 9 overs of this innings, and the Steelbacks on what looks like a tricky pitch to bat on are going at 7.4 and over, which they will be more than okay with right now.
Matt Salisbury, who, like Ahmed in that previous over, went for 10. of his over. He's going to have another go from the Bennett end. Coming to the halfway point of the innings, and as I say, 160 is a good score. I think you're very much in the game on this. In goes Salisbury and bowls, big swing, thick inside edge, bounces well short of the wicket-keeper, Swindles, who takes it well, because he was moving to his left, and then the inside edge forced him to dive to his right, made the stop. It was a slightly slower delivery from Salisbury as well, so varying his pace nicely. Good delivery. Crowd noise building a little bit, which is good to hear, the atmosphere. Salisbury's in, Gay stands back, waits for it, doesn't stand back too far, step back too far though, and just dabs it away from off stump down through the vacant slip area, down towards Callum Parkinson. At third man, takes his one, leans on his bat, having moved on to 30 of 26 deliveries. See what Lynn can make of Salisbury. Right-hander, so long gone, did go back, now he's being summoned back now, much to the unhappiness of a personal fan club that has developed for Mulder over there.
I was just thinking that, I just noticed that. Bill making friends down there, South African.
Square leg is going a bit wider, Ackerman towards mid-wicket.
They've got foam hands down there, those gentlemen.
Salisbury is in, Lynn hits it straight and hard over mid-wicket, bounces a few times before crossing the ropes in front of the Melton Building Society family stand. Got plenty of that one, Chris Lynn. Again, a really crisply hit delivery, the Australian. We have seen this a few times before. Just seems to have an immense liking for Leicestershire bowling. He moves on to 11 off 5. It's still very early stages, but those early stages had him a bit ominous already.
Yeah.
That was a lovely crisp hit. Bang.
He's timing the ball very nicely from the off.
Mid-wicket has gone back now. Salisbury is in to Lynn, who smashes it over between long on and mid-wicket for a one bounce for this occasion. It was a length delivery, and it was not the right delivery from Salisbury, who didn't take any pace off it, and with mid-on up on the edge of the circle, mid-wicket pretty wide, it was a fairly safe hit, but again it was a beautifully crisp hit, and Lynn moves on to 15 off 6.
You said, didn't you, that he's got Leicestershire had used up 7.5 overs before he came to the crease. What makes me worried is that he's just gonna that doesn't seem to matter.
Salisbury is in, bowls to him, he tucks him off his legs out towards mid-wicket, takes the first one quickly, but Ackerman comes in equally quickly from a deep square, really gets to the ball almost on the edge of the circle, gets his throw away. Lynn settles somewhat grudgingly for a single, moves on to 16, 77 for 1. If he's going to do that and Gay can keep the scoreboard ticking at the other end, Northampton will be in decent shape to post a reasonably challenging score. Salisbury's in to Gay, who chips it up into the air almost straight to long on, should be caught and is caught. Straightforward catch for Mulder, who raises his ball to his personal fan club over there, actually on the long off boundary for the left-hander. They like him very much out there, and so do all Leicestershire fans, because he has a very, very safe pair of hands. Vian Mulder took a brilliant, was it against Notts? He took that running low catch up on that boundary. That was a much, much easier catch, and Gay, having sort of used up half the overs and done a reasonable job for his side, goes. Caught Mulder, bowled Salisbury for 30, and Northants at the halfway point of their innings are 77 for 2.
Well, they may feel, Leicestershire, that if they dismiss Lynn, certainly, they keep making inroads, that they have an opportunity to restrict Northamptonshire in this game. That's Gay falling at an important time from a Leicestershire perspective. If you're a Northamptonshire supporter, you'll be frustrated by that, because he'd worked quite hard to get in. He'd used up 27 balls for that 30. If you go on and make 60, 70, that's worth it, particularly when he struggled at the start. He didn't seem to time the ball naturally in this game and on this pitch, but he has had to depart.
A bit of good news for Leicestershire supporters is that Rishi Patel is back out there. Sol Budinger has come off, and Patel is back out there at deep mid-wicket, or deep square now, so whatever injury he incurred, not too serious.
They would want their top scorer in this competition, that is for certain. 320 runs for Patel, but his services with bat are required later as Ahmed bowls his third over. This is a decent first delivery, straight with a bit of drift into the right-hander before a small amount of spin, a smidgen away from Lynn, who's 16 not out. And in comes Ahmed. Oh, and this is bludgeoned down the ground for 6. It's a poor ball from Ahmed, a long hop, and back goes Lynn. He's too good, too powerful to miss out on that. And he clobbered that down the ground for 6 runs. And Lynn looks in good form, ominously good form from a Leicestershire perspective, as he races to 22 off 9. 83 for 2 is the score as Ahmed comes in. Lynn drives this, more patient with this delivery, showing a little bit more respect. And Mulder fields at long on. One more added to the total. Lynn 23. Saif Zaib is the new man, and will face his his first delivery.
He was dropped in on the bleachers as well. Gentleman on the benches.
Oh, was it?
Couldn't quite hang on. Was travelling. Fair play.
Ahmed up to the wicket, bowls, drags this one down a bit, but it tucked him up for room, so all he can do is turn it round the corner's eye. You wonder if it was a batsman who had been in for longer, they might have punished that a little bit more, but as it is, it's a single added to the total. Zaib off the mark, and now Lynn back on strike. There's a hum at Grace Road as in comes Ahmed. Back goes Lynn and carves this for 4. Well, that flew off the bat. It's another poor ball from Ahmed, too short and too wide and too easy for Lynn to punish that. And forward of square it went, right over towards the Geary bar. And that is 4 more to the total. 4 more to Lynn, who's 27 off 11 and in scary form, quite frankly. He's on for another 50, isn't he? Ahmed bowls, back goes Lynn, this time fine, plays it down towards third man. There's nobody down there, and so that races away for 4 more, and that's an expensive over from Ahmed, who's bowled some decent stuff. It's been feast or famine really from him in this innings. 16 off the over. 3 overs for 31 his figures, and that's a key over. You'd think the end of the 11th. Leicestershire now on 93 rather for 2, and that run rate will have increased quite dramatically. You do fear whether that's pushed the run rate up to 8.45. That could be a turning point in the innings, but we shall see.
Parkinson back on at the Bennett end. 1 for 14, so respectable figures for Callum so far. Looks around him, tells his mid off just to go a bit straighter. Over the wicket he goes, bowls to Zaber, attempts a little reverse paddle, doesn't get anything on it. The ball misses the stumps by a fraction and is not taken cleanly by Swindles. However, no extras accrue as a consequence. He thought it was probably going to hit the stumps. Parkinson is in and fires it miles down the leg side. It's a wide. Swindles does well to get anything on it at all. Stuck out glove and right leg as well. Managed just to deflect the ball, stop it a bit. Possibly even save 4 wides as a consequence, but another wide bowled by Leicestershire. I think that's the 5th at least of the innings. Parkinson is in, really tried to give that a tweak on that occasion, dropped a fraction short though, so Zabe could go back and just turn it out towards mid-wicket, and did so sufficiently gently to pick up 2 runs because Finan had a long way to run into field. So Zabe on to 3, 96 for 2. Yeah, Friday night is a good night for a T20 game, isn't it? People relaxed as Zabe tries to sweep from outside off stump, has no idea where the ball has gone. I don't think he got anything on it, came off the pad, bounced down, excuse me, towards gully. Salisbury came into field and 1 leg by is taken, 97 for 2.
You would think in an ideal world, from a T20 scheduling perspective, you would have most games Friday night, really. It's when everybody wants to come out, have a few beers, they go with their mates, they go with the family. Friday nights and Sunday afternoons are when it should be played. There's too many games on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, where not many people can come.
Parkinson round the wicket to Lynn, who just stands up tall, works it out towards long on. Mulder came running in. In fact, not Mulder, it's Scriven who's out there now in front of Mulder's personal fan club. And so the cheers weren't quite as heartfelt as Scriven went running into field. Kept it to 1. Lynn on to 32. Off just 13 balls. Over the wicket goes Parkinson. Saves Abe. Square drives off the front foot down just behind square. Out to Ackerman on the backward point boundary and takes 1. 99 for 2. Just waiting for something, the crowd, for a real explosion. Lynn hasn't done badly, as I say, 32 off 13 as Parkinson is in, bowls to him. He just waits for it and works it out towards long on, jogs a single. Brings up the 100 for the Steelbacks at the end of the 12th over. But
into early July. And of course with the 100, what they have done is given the scheduling, they've given it proper space, they've given it proper time. It's one game a night, isn't it? Maybe more than one on the big nights like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's where they really go big and focus on trying and getting the crowds in, and that is a luxury that is not afforded to the counties, unfortunately, who are just asked to pack a load of games in a very short period of time and try and make some money out of it. It's their best seller, it's the best product, but they're not able to put it on at the best time. Tom Scriven will bowl his first over. He comes in. Oh, it's an uppish drive from Lynn. Not sure whether Scriven just pulled his pace back. In fact, it's very good running from Lynn and Zaid. They come back for 2. It was played out towards cover. It's one of those ones where actually if you cloth it slightly, you're more likely to get 2 because there's only players out in the deep on the offside, certainly forward of square, and so the fielders have to run in quite some distance to get there, and you can sprint through for 2. Scriven, blonde-haired, juts his elbows out as he runs past the umpire. He bowls and he's cut out towards Ackerman, who's at that deep cover position, and he fields. There is another single added to the total, 103 for 2. 12.2 overs gone in the innings, so 7.4 remaining. Reminder, Foxes won the toss and chose to bowl. One change, Harry Swindles replacing the injured Louis Kimber. It's going to be difficult for Leicestershire when they bat, because that's an important piece of firepower that has departed. Apart from Welsh, who hasn't really come off this season, he's their big biffer really, and he will be sorely missed. He's got a hand injury. They're checking to see if it's broken. Scriven up to the wicket, he bowls, and Zaid had moved across his stumps as Scriven was running in and tried to cut him away. Scriven bowling on a length outside the off stump to try and flummox Zaid as he was trying to force it away on the leg side to the left-hander, but it was outside off stump, so the attempted late cut didn't work out for him. It would be a successful shot. There's no man behind square on the offside. Third man is up as his backward point. In comes Scriven. Zaid tries to heave this, and you probably hear on our effects microphone at the top of his bat, and goes to deep backward point, and a single is taken for Zaid. That was a really sort of agricultural, bucolic heave from Zaid. So it brings Lynn 36 of 16 on strike. It's those gentlemen down there who look like they're very good-natured. Have brought foam hands with them. I don't know whether Leicestershire sell them, do they? Oh, they do, apparently. Scriven comes in, and this is a horrible heave across the line from Lynn. Almost wanted a moo alongside that. That was aimed towards Cow Corner, but he didn't time it, so it goes down towards long on, where Mulder fields. 105 for 2, Lynn on to 37. Well, they've all picked up the green foam handles, famous. You see them at baseball games, don't you? Scriven blonde-haired, long run-up. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and this is hit high in the air, and it just goes wide of Mulder. It wasn't hit high enough. Had it been hit straight at him, it would have been a catch, but as it is, it was wide of him and runs away for 4 runs. Not timed particularly well, it has to be said, by Zaib, but he gets the desired result. 4 more added to the total, and that means there's 9 off the over, and Northamptonshire 109 for 2 at the end of the 13th. Zaib 9, Lynn 37. What is a pleasant but cloudy evening in Ayleston.
It's a shame it wasn't a bad over up to just that last delivery. Just gave him enough width. It was the right length to get underneath it sufficiently to clear mid-off, and once you do that, despite the rain we've had in recent days, outfield down that end of the ground, down towards the members' seats, still pretty swift. Finan is going to come back on and bowl at Chris Lynn. He's going to bowl around the wicket to the Australian. Every man on the leg side is on the boundary. Every man on the offside inside the circle. Finan is in and tucks Lynn up, goes between Lynn and the stumps as the Australian backs away. Tried to flick it into the leg side, so good delivery from Finan. Didn't get anything on it. It was taken by Swindles. It's a fairly straightforward policy, but you know where he's going to bowl then, essentially. In towards the body of Lynn, but you've got to get your length right if you're going to do that. And he's perfectly capable of clearing the men on the ropes if you don't. Finan in again, same place, and he has gone to try to clear them. He's hit it high up into the air, should be caught by Ahmed running in from long on, and is caught by Ahmed running in from long on. Made a little bit of a meal of it, Rahan. It's a no ball. Michael Finan adding a no ball to his wides, and that could be horribly costly. So Lynn picks up a couple. He gets a free hit as well. And he doesn't lose his wicket. If you're gonna take a wicket off a no ball, let it not be Chris Lynn.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you watch him, you go, what are you standing there for? Oh.
Finan tries again, in he comes, bowls to Lynn, who swings mightily, gets a bit of a thick inside edge on it, runs out towards wide mid-wicket, and Lynn can pick up a couple. He's a bit cross with himself because he didn't manage to get that one away. Even so, he has moved into his 40s with that chance, that life. 41 off 20 for Lynn. 115 for 2. If he hangs around for another 4 or 5 overs, that 170 could be left in the distance. Finan is in, bowls to him, drags his length back a little bit again, though he's looking to tuck him up. Should pick up. Ooh, I thought they might go for that one, the 2 there, but Zaib turned fairly slowly, not particularly quick between the wickets. Lynn was half interested as Ahmed came sprinting in from long on to field. Just the one in the end. Lynn on to 42, maintaining his 2 runs for every ball faced average. Strike rate 116 for 2. With that no ball, meaning that we've had only the 3 legitimate deliveries in the over, and the free hit, of course. He's also bowled a couple of wides, so usually ends up bowling the best part of another over, Michael Finan. He's in over the wicket to Zaib, who waits and delicately cuts the back foot down towards Parkinson. Rode that one really nicely. Parkinson is there at third man, so it is just the one. Zaib into double figures now.
Yeah, you feel that could be a very costly mistake. Because Lynn has looked really in good form. That's the first one he hadn't timed.
He's hit some glorious shots, hasn't he? Very hard. Finan is in, bowls to him, onto the legs again. That's clearly the policy. And it is kind of working. and Lynn picks up a run. I thought umpire Adnan was going to signal a leg by there, but must have been a little inside edge onto the pads as he was tucked up again by Finan with all those men out on the leg side. Lynn and Hanscom having a conversation about something. Much amusement between the two of them, so they're clearly familiar. Very slower, much slower ball from Fine. Didn't quite get it right, and then he's disappointed because Scriven didn't field it cleanly at point as it was driven away square along the ground by Zabe. But he absolutely looped up outside off stump. But it was the right length. It was a sort of Yorker length. Just driven to backward point for a single end of the over. Saif Zabe has 11. Chris Lynn has moved on to 43. 119 for 2 off 14. I think they would be happy enough if they get to 170.
I think 170 is a very good score on this pitch. From what we have seen, it is too paced. It's a little bit uneven. Very few players have timed it, bar Chris Lynn. And I hope we're not going back to that moment where Ahmed caught him off a no ball. That's one of the more decisive moments in the match, given a huge lifeline on that front foot no ball from Finan. 119 for 2, 6 overs remain in this innings. Zaib on 11, Lynn on 43. Renan Ahmed will bowl from the pavilion end. His final game for Leicestershire for at least a week, 10 days before he's off to England as he's up to the wicket he bowls. It's a delivery on leg stump to the left-handed Zaib, who clips it away behind square on the leg side. He'll pick up a single. 120 for 2 is the score. It's the final home game for Leicestershire in the T20 Blast. They've had a bit of a miserable time of it, winning 2 games out of 11 so far before today as Ahmed bowls, and this is driven uppishly high up in the air. It's being chased by Finan, who can't get there, and I think that was 4 just before the boundary rope. That looked like you're signalling 6.
I think it was 6, yeah.
And so does the umpire. I was wrong. I will rewatch the it was very close to the rope, must have just bounced inches over rather than inches before as I thought. But 6 runs to the total. Lynn is 1 run away now.
Oh, now hang on, you might be right, because Michael Finan's saying he thought it was 4, but I thought it landed over, but no. So you were correct. There you go. Finan has said it was signalled 4. I thought it just landed over. Stream's a bit behind.
The replay's a little bit behind us, but it's been changed to 4 as Ahmed comes in. There's a big heave, and was he out of his ground? It doesn't matter, because Swindles juggled the ball, and he apologises to Ahmed, which suggests that he might have been. So maybe a missed opportunity. Lynn on to 47. He is still 1 blow away from a 4th consecutive score of 50 or below. Oh, he hits this into the ground as Ahmed goes flat and quick. I was just watching the replay now. I don't know whether they will slow it down for us. Either way, it has been signalled as a 4. It's me and Mike Finan against Richard and the umpire here. As Ahmed comes in, up to the wicket, he bowls flat, and this is carved down the ground on the offside to Finan, who feels it will just be a single.
I thought that was a 4 over the ropes, to be honest. Having watched 2 replays as well, but we'll see.
Credit to the umpire, to be fair to him, to listen and change his mind based on the opposition fielder. And I think he's still having a little chat with the Northamptonshire players as Ahmed comes down the pitch, and Zaib comes down the pitch to Ahmed and gets a 1 bounce 4. Straight as a dart down the ground, and that was a lovely shot. Nice pick up. He was in the slot, made room for himself, got to the pitch of the ball, and lovely arch blade as the ball raced away for 4. So an expensive over once again, 10 more off it, and that's the end of Ahmed's spell. 4 overs done for 41, relatively expensive. They've made light work so far of Ahmed. So 129 for 2 is the score. Lynn on 40. 58 scored at Grace Road last year. It was an extraordinary game. Very memorable game. Fiery, hot-headed encounter. Leicestershire won by 1 run. We had Jimmy Neesham, didn't we, running his
we ran Lewis McManus out deliberately, but yeah.
Running his teammates out.
It was
so
a
he could
very
get on
costly
strike.
game. Scriven in from the Bennett end, bowls to Lynn on 48, clubs it, having made room for himself back through straight mid-on. Ahmed fields at long on, throws to the keeper, and it is just a single. Lynn on to 49.
Yes, if you didn't know already or you don't remember, Leicestershire were docked points for, what was it, 2 above waist no balls for Naveen, which meant he was taken off. And then they were punished for their language and aggressive behaviour.
Aaron Lilly's language and aggressive behaviour. In goes Scriven, bowls, ramped very cleverly and brilliantly actually by Zabe for a 1 bounce 4 down to fine third man. Just stepped across, left-hander lifted it, and it was a fairly safe shot because Parkinson up on the edge of the circle at short third man. 133, no, 134 for 2. Scoreboards now agree again. Zabe on to 20. He too seems to have found his range. Scriven, that angled run, staying over the wicket to the left hand. He's going to try and repeat it. He's managed it as well. That will take a little bit of acceleration, and over the ropes it goes. Parkinson sort of anticipated it. It was lofted a little bit more into the air by Zabe, but he did it pretty effectively, and again with that slope down slightly to the pavilion end. He just gathered a little bit of pace as once it had bounced, and over the ropes it went. Consecutive boundaries.
Lovely shot.
It's clever, isn't it? Really clever.
Well, it's a way, if you're not a big brutal hitter like Chris Lynn, it's a really clever way for you to keep the run rate up, to spread the field, to make it difficult for captains. Although the problem is, in reality, you're never going to be able to stop that. You're never going to get a field in place for that shot.
Scriven in, Zabe steps across, hits high, over, deep, backwards, square for 6. Huge 6, beautiful shot. Almost wide, long leg. So Scriven is going the distance in these recent deliveries. 4, 4, and now 6. Safe Zabe certainly has found his range. He's moved on to 30. And Northants hoping to go past that 170 we keep talking about. 144 for 2 now. Zabe 30 off 15, Lynn 49 off 27.
Hitting like this, they'll get there comfortably.
They will. Scriven is in again. Lynn steps, beg your pardon, Zabe steps across and drives this time. The full delivery from outside off stump along the ground. Finan half stops it and then looks at his hand a little bit tentatively. He's okay though, just the single to safe Zabe. He moves on to 31, 145 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 16th over. Lynn on 49. I'm pretty sure he's actually on 51, but there you go. Scriven to finish what has been a rather expensive over is in and bowls. Lynn is on 50 now because he has clubbed that miles over mid-wicket into the nets, the movable net out there, the wheel nets in front of what used to be the children's playground. And Lynn moves past 50, of course. Lynn moves past 50 against Leicestershire 200s and now 250s for the Australian, who must so look forward to the men in green shaping up at the other end.
That was a fantastic shot. Really just opened his arms up, and we thought it might be costly, and it is. Lynn actually hasn't had the best of seasons. He
no.
just has
Just us, yeah.
He's got
22 off that over, by the way.
22 off the over. What, 2 4s, 2 6s, and the rest. Lynn, yeah, before this innings, 267 runs, which does sound like a lot. I mean, it's the second highest but 110 of them came against Leicestershire. So the previous 10 innings that he'd only managed 150 runs, which isn't really that great, but he has
165 in 2 against us, against Leicestershire.
He's got as many in 2 innings as he has in the rest of the remaining 10 innings that he's played. So Callum Parkinson then, 1 for 20 off his 3 overs. Thought spin would maybe make a bigger impact than it has. In he comes, slower ball, carved into the leg side, Finan is chasing it. It's going to run away for a 1 bounce 4 though. Zaib has decided he's had enough and he's opening up. Bit of a slow start from him, but he's now just seemingly heaving at every opportunity. Big slog sweep, over towards mid-wicket, and there's 4 more added to the total, and Northamptonshire are rocking and rolling now. 16.1 overs, 155 for 2. Zaib on to 35. Parkinson moves away from us, bowling from the pavilion end. He bowls a full delivery, just short of a Yorker length, which is pushed down the ground towards Finan, who really whips that arm through when he throws, doesn't he? 1 bounce into the grateful hands of Swindles. Parkinson, buzz-cutted, blonde hair, turns. Nice successful bowler for Leicestershire. 14 wickets, just under 7 and over. He comes in now, driven down the ground by Lynn. And the batsmen nearly run into each other on the way through. It's fielded again by Finan, who does well to keep the ball in. It was just wide of him racing round from what is a long off to the right-handed Lynn, long on to the left-handed Zaib. And as Lynn was facing, he was long off, so he was racing round to a sort of straight cover. 158 for 2. 2 more to Lynn. 57 not out. Parkinson in, and Lynn's eyes lit up then. He wanted to mow that towards Cow Corner, but in the end he played it safe along the ground out to a squarer position. There is a fielder out at deep square leg who collected 159 for 2. We said 160, didn't we? We said 169 would be a good score. They're looking at 190, 200, I'd suggest, at the moment. Parkinson, that's down the leg side and be 4 wides. It's being chased by Rian Ahmed. He's not going to get there, though. That was rattling away down there. 164 for 2, won't it be? They'll get 5 off that delivery, and they'll have to bowl it again. So Leicestershire struggling here, and this game is getting away from them, you sense, in these key moments.
They look very flat as a team.
Parkinson up to the wicket. Down the pitch comes Zaib, but he telegraphed that, and so Parkinson really dragged his length back. It was probably a half tracker in the end, and it was, in the end, a nice back foot push from Zaib. Nice arc of the blade. He picks up a single out to deep cover. 38 he's on off 19 deliveries. As in he comes, the attempted scoop, and he's nearly run about 3 miles away as he attempted to do that, but he missed the ball entirely, Zaib. So he's on to 38. The score 166 for 2. Another expensive over, 15 off it. Just going to have a look at the overs, because there have been plenty of expensive ones in this game. And when we thought the first few overs we saw, Richard, we were going, this is when
Well, yeah, there were 67 for 1 off 9.
Yeah.
57 off 8, 53 off 7. So
they've had since the 10th, since the 9th over, where they've had 10 runs off that. They've had 10, 10, 16, 7, 9, 10, 10, 22, and now 15. Very expensive stuff. And Northamptonshire, on a pitch like this, might give themselves a total that becomes unassailable. They batted pretty well, I have to say, considering the relatively difficult conditions. Matt Salisbury, if I was him, I'm not sure I'd want to come on to bowl. Because you've got 2 players who are seemingly right in form. Seeing the ball in the slot, seeing it like a beach ball at the moment.
Salisbury down the slope into Lynn, bowls short. Lynn tries to pull, misses it. I think it came off the body, but it might just have come off a bit of the bat as well. It did come off a bit of the bat. It was a slower bounce. He does have good variation, Salisbury, and it deceived Lynn. bounced out into the offside, and he gets just a single. Pressure's off him now, because Safe Zabe is going just as well at t'other end. Salisbury stays over the wicket. Safe Zabe steps across, he bangs it in short, he pulls it high over mid-wicket, and he pulls in for 6. It bounces once and then into the crowd, caught one-handed by a gentleman on the back row of seats, but it did bounce. One hand, one bounce. Like playing cricket on the beach. 173 for 2. Tried to repeat the trick that worked against Lynn the previous delivery. It didn't work against Safe Zabe. He picked it. He saw it early. Took full advantage. 173 now for 2. Salisbury is in. Bowls a full toss that is smashed back over his head for 6 more. Quite low as well. Safe Zabe moves past 50 himself. Well, he moves on to 50, and after a couple of sighters early on, once he became adjusted to the slight oddness of pace about the track, he has hit the ball almost as well as Chris Lynn, as well recently. His 50 has come off just 22 deliveries, 179 now for 2, and brings up the 100 partnership between these two. Salisbury is in again, bowls wide and a little bit short, and it's cut out to the cover boundary for 4 more. So 66, 12, 16 off the last 3 deliveries. The last 3 overs have been extraordinary, really.
Yeah.
It's all you can.
The interesting thing about Zabe's innings is, I reckon, what was it, 50 of 22 deliveries, I reckon most of those, probably 40, have come off about 10, 12, 13 balls. He started.
He was definitely
slowly
on about 9 off about 8,
yeah,
something like that. It was a runner ball initially, but it's not now by a long way. Salisbury in. Safe Zabe gets another very high full toss. That'll be a no ball, and it catch notwithstanding. It was a no ball. Obviously, it was above waist height, and is so signalled by umpire Adnan, and that is a warning for Matt Salisbury, and he will have to bowl it again. So the wheels coming off in unpleasantly spectacular fashion as far as the Foxes are concerned in the last few overs. 184 for 2 now.
There's a real inquisition going on now between Hanscom. It's that Ackerman who's joined Salisbury to discuss what to do next. That's 2 wickets. It's difficult because it was a wicket off a waist high full toss, but you could argue that's 2 wickets that have fallen off no balls.
Yeah, I suspect he kind of knew it was going to be called. Salisbury is in, drops short, pulled round the corner, bounces once. Ackerman runs along the ropes and feels well, so it will be just 2 from the free hit. Just 2. Moves on to 188, the score. Lynn on to 61. We've still got a ball to be bowled in this over, which has cost 22 already from Matt Salisbury. 1 for 42 from 3.
They look flat. They've looked flat the past 5, 6 overs, Leicestershire.
Just, they're quiet, a little bit dispirited. Salisbury is in and pulled. Length delivery by Lynn out towards mid-wicket. Ackerman gets to the ball first, gets his throw away, and it is just 1. 189 for 2 at the end of the 18th over. Lynn has 62. Hasn't seen much of the strike in recent overs. 62 off 33. Safe Zabe has taken advantage of the bowling that he's had, the majority thereof, 55 off 24, and with 2 overs to go, well, they're going to go well past 200, I think, Adam, and that is a very, very good score on this track.
Often talk about what's par, and so there have been 2 games on this pitch, Richard, before?
I don't know about, it's used, certainly, whether it's that, I think it is this one.
There's 1-2 pitches along that may have been used too.
Sure it's
Either
this
way,
one.
it has been used. It's a very good score for a used pitch. Finan will bowl his final over. None for 22 so far. Lynn on 62 not out. Oh, it's hit right in the unmentionables there. They scamper through for a single, and Finan appeals for the run out as he slid in and knocks the bails and knocks the stumps down himself. He slide tackled the stumps then, and then well, he appealed for a run out. Then he did the DRS signal to the umpire to suggest that should have been out. Did the T with his one arm and his hand. He needs to be careful doing stuff like that. I'd say that verges on dissent.
And had he concentrated on running to get the ball, he would have prevented the second run.
Yes. So 2 runs added to the total. 191 for 2. I think that hit Lynn in the box. He's back on strike, up to the wicket. Bowls and hits this down the ground. There's a fielder out there. It's Mulder who catches it. Very good catch. Running round to his left-hand side, moving at pace. He slipped as well as soon as the ball went into the hands. And so that is the 3rd wicket to fall for Leicestershire. For Northamptonshire, but you get the sense that the damage is done. 191 for 3. Lynn goes for 62. It's only the second time they've managed to get him out in 4 T20s, but his incredible record against the Foxes continues. 4 innings, 2 centuries, 2 50s. He's off for 62. Northamptonshire 191 for 3. 2 overs into the 19th over. 2 balls into the 19th over.
Second catch for Vian Mulder.
And a good one too. He's got a very safe pair of hands. As soon as you saw it was Mulder, you thought that's going to be taken, even though it wasn't an easy opportunity. He made it look easy. And they've brought out their big deaf batsman, the broad-shouldered Andrew Tye. Looks like an absolute tank when he runs out to bat. He's just going to try and whack it. And why not? They've got 200, maybe even 210 in their sights. Have Northamptonshire under cloudy skies on a mild summer evening in Leicestershire. That's fine, and all in green. Starts his run up with a few walking steps, and now he's up to the wicket. Bowls, and Tye smacks this first up. Has he got a hold of it? He's hit it straight to deep mid wicket and he's caught. So 2 in 2 for Finan. Tye doing exactly what he's been asked to do, which is to hit it as hard and high as possible. This one didn't come off. He actually timed it relatively well. He just picked out the fielder entirely. So another wicket falls. 191 for 4 is the score.
Nick Welch, the catcher at deep mid wicket.
And now you've just got David Willey coming to the crease, one of the most talented all-rounders in the limited overs format of the past 20 years. Just that. Looks like a real athlete, David Willey. I just think it's so unfortunate to miss out on the England team for the World Cup. He was part of that team for so long before the 2019 tournament, and he was moved alongside, somebody had to be, and he was moved alongside for Jofra Archer. It was the right decision. We could argue they won the World Cup. Willey, an incredibly talented player. Finan on a hat-trick. He's up to the wicket now. He comes and bowls, and Willey smacks him round the corner. Is he going to be caught? No, it's going to be 4 runs. Willey latching on to that and heaving it through the leg side, and he got all of it. It was uppish for a while. Had it picked the fielder out, it would have been a catch, but he was well wide of him. 4 more to the total, and they're closing in on 200, 195 for 4. And as we've said, 200 is a brilliant score here. We haven't seen many scores of 200 at Grace Road this season, have we? If at all. I'm trying to think when we have. Finan running away from us now. He's up to the wicket. He bowls. A slower delivery. Hit high up in the air by Willey. The fielder is out there. Catches it. Oh, and Ackerman's done brilliantly well. He hasn't caught it, but he has saved the 6 and has only conceded 1 run from it. He was running around right on the boundary rope, caught it, and then as he was tumbling over, jumped into the air and just chucked it back into the field of play. So 1 run added to the total. Fantastic. What was it? 2 added to the total. Sorry. I thought Willey hadn't. That's it. That was my confusion. I thought that was Willey at the non-striker's end, but you're right. It was 2. 197 for 4. Willie's not messing around, is he? Finan, left arm to the left-handed Willie, Yorker, and a good one. As Willie moved over towards the leg side, Finan followed him, and we'll get 2 more. So despite the fact that there were 2 wickets off the over, it was still quite expensive. How many? 11? 10?
10 off it.
10 off it. 10 off the penultimate over of this T20 innings, the Northamptonshire innings. They were put into bat by Leicestershire. They won 199 for 4. We'll be aiming for 210, which will be a hugely competitive total at Grace Road, considering what's been happening at Leicestershire in the week, and considering Leicestershire's form in this competition. They just seem a bit flat out there. It's been a very difficult week for Leicestershire. Mind, if you want to hear everything that we've been talking about, of course, Paul Nixon removed from his post as head coach dramatically and unexpectedly yesterday. 3 key players moving on at the end of the season: Colin Ackerman, Callum Parkinson and Chris Wright. We discussed it all on the podcast yesterday, the Talking Foxes podcast. That's your places to go if you want to get your Leicestershire fix. You can get that on BBC Sounds or wherever you get your podcast. And today we interviewed Sean Jarvis, the Leicester CEO, all about it. He was very determined, unrepentant, but legally bound. Answered some, but not all of our questions. 199 for 4 is the score as we head into the final over.
Which will be bowled, no doubt with a certain amount of trepidation, by Tom Scriven. Saif Zaib is still there on 55, not out. Even worse, he is on strike as far as Scriven is concerned. 2 overs, none for 31 for Tom Scriven as he comes in from the Bennett end, bowls to Saif Zaib, who slaps it up into the air, should be caught at long on by Vian Mulder, catches everything, and Mulder does indeed complete the catch, his 3rd of the innings. So perhaps Northamptonshire won't get past 200. They're stuck on 199 at the moment. I suspect they will. Saif Zaib goes for a very, very impressive 55. It came off 25 deliveries, and together with Chris Lynn, that century partnership for the 3rd wicket gave Northampton's innings real momentum and has put them into a pretty formidable position.
Yeah, they will be frustrated with the way that this innings has finished, though. They probably could have got 220 if Lynn and Zaib had stayed in. That's to have restricted them somewhat, but I'll repeat myself, the damage feels like it's already been done. And now we're going to say something we were not going to say very often in cricket, Richard. Let's welcome the German international, Justin Broad. South African born, but plays for the German national team.
Dieter Klein.
Yes.
Ditto. We Leicestershire had a German international on their books. And he's still on our books in a way, on the coaching staff. In goes Scriven, bowls to Broad, who swings and misses. The throw hits and he's run out. David Willey bounced once before. It was taken by Harry Swindles, who underarmed the ball back at the stumps. Willey rightly, I think, had called Broad through. He needed to be on strike. The throw clipped the stumps, and another quick wicket for the Foxes, and 199 is still the score. So we are 2 balls now into the over, 2 dot balls. Well, can they keep? Well, they're going to have to get 200, whatever, Leicestershire to win the game.
Yeah.
But if they can restrict Northampton to 205, something like that, instead of 215, give them a little bit of a better feeling at the change of innings. Lewis McManus comes to the crease on a ground on which he did not do much for the spirit of cricket.
You're going to have to
trying
remind
to put a nice
people,
way
You're going to have to remind people. I'm going to have to bring it up again.
Oh, Scriven comes into bowl to the Northampton wicket keeper. Short pulled around the corner straight to Callum Parkinson, That fine leg gets his throw away, but that is the single Northampton needed to bring up their 200. 200 for 6. Well, I think everybody knows, really. I'm sure the Northants listeners on the stream, watchers on the stream, don't need reminding and won't want to be reminded. Leicestershire supporters also know very well what happened that infamous day against Hampshire. Scriven in to Broad, who swings him over backwards square for a 1 bounce for. Nice pickup by Broad. It was leg side, the delivery from Scriven, and it meant that he could use the pace of the ball essentially. Broad did, whipped it away backwards square, 1 bounce, 204 for 6, 2 balls to go.
If you're being a glass half full person, you might say these wickets might just swing the momentum a little bit towards Leicestershire. They'll feel a little bit happier with how the innings has ended.
Scriven is in. Broad clubs him back straight over his head for a huge 6. Straight into the sight screen, simple as that. It was a length delivery, very straight, didn't move an inch. Certainly moved more than an inch once it had been connected with by Broad's bat. Straight into the sight screen for 6.
I would like to retract the previous remark.
Do you want some tickets for the Friends of Grace Road?
I'll get some tickets for the Friends of Grace Road.
I wasn't lucky last time. Maybe you will be this time for the draw. Scriven, hoping to finish the innings on a high note, comes in and bowls short. It's carved up into the air. 2 fielders look at each other. Welsh comes in from the boundary and takes a good running catch. Well, Tom Scriven gets a little bit of joy at the end. He'll finish with 2 for 42 from his 3 overs, but I suspect most of the joy will be in the Steelbacks camp, because they have finished on 210 for 7 in the end, I think it was. 6, beg your pardon, 210 for 6. Leicestershire will need 211 to win on a distinctly tricky pitch, or what looked to be a distinctly tricky pitch. They know, really, Northants, what they have to do, probably take the pace off it, but they have some past masters at doing that in the likes of Ben Sanderson and, of course, David Willey. So 211 for 6 will be the target, Owen, here at the final home T20 game of the season.
Richard Ray. I am pitch side here at Grace Road after that first innings, and Adam Whitty, I mean, it's difficult to look at this and the bowling performance that Leicestershire just put in there and not be a little bit disappointed, because 210 on this pitch is a very, very good score, as you and Richard alluded to throughout commentary.
Yeah, there was a key moment in the game, wasn't there, which was the dropping of Chris Lynn. He went on to score about another 30 runs from that point. But I think that just swung the momentum completely. Leicestershire, had they got some more wickets, had been able to, had they taken that wicket, gone on from there, they could have really put some pressure under Northamptonshire. But 133 runs came off the last 10 overs, Owen, and that is a huge amount, particularly on a pitch that looks a little bit too paced. And I think essentially what they did, they ran out of slower bowlers. Ahmed was a little bit hit and miss, Parkinson bowled well, but the pace just didn't work, like fine and apart probably. They were hit all over the place. Zaib and Lynn looked very comfortable on what looked like a very difficult pitch to bat on, certainly at the start of the innings. And so yeah, they were very, very expensive, those bowlers at the end. Salisbury going at 14 and over, Ahmed at 10, Scriven at 14 and over. Yeah, it was a difficult innings for them, when you would have thought conditions would have suited the bowlers.
And although he's not here tonight and has left the club in what we understand, Adam, this was something that Paul Nixon highlighted you know, in the last game, and in the game before that, and in the game before that, in his post-match thoughts that actually Leicestershire weren't taking wickets in key moments.
Yeah, there have been repeated errors throughout this T20 campaign. We've spoken about them repeatedly with the bat. It's that people don't go on from big scores, that they don't seem to have a big hitter, and with the bowling it has been.
But we can admit that.
And 12 the target, so 202 is a big task. Out of the field come Nick Welsh. And is that Rahan Ahmed who has come out to open the batting there, Richard?
It is.
Well, there we go. Well, there's the signal, which is this needs to be an aggressive innings, an aggressive start. We want Rahan Ahmed to go and do it for us. Normally be Peter Hanscom, but they obviously feel this is about getting off to a pretty vibrant start.
It is Hanscom and Ahmed, is it not?
It is Hanscom, you are right, it's Hanscom, there you go. I thought it was Nick Welsh has obviously been moved down. But that's interesting, Nick Welsh is another big hitter. There's one of the things about Leicestershire's campaign has been that lack of consistency about who comes in when. And you've got two international cricketers out there, to be fair, Peter Hanscom and Rahan Ahmed. Hanscom will face the first delivery. He'll be bowled by David Willey, and it's a leg stump line and clipped into the leg side. They'll get at least two here as it beats the infield, and there's a man running around from deep backward square leg. So two to get us off the mark, and Peter Hanscom off the mark. So I wonder when Nick Welsh will come in. Will he come in at number 3? Will he come in at number 5 or 6 when Rahan Ahmed normally comes in? It's a gamble, but it's a bold gamble. I like the look of it. Certainly worth a try. Hanscom faces Willie and drives down the ground. There's a lovely off drive. Doesn't quite get all of it though, Hanscom, and so it's played to mid-off, and so it's just a single added to the total. Blue sky poking through the white cloud up at Grace Road here. The floodlights on, not doing a huge amount of work. It's a bright evening, high cloud. Relatively large crowd in as well. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, that we've seen. Durham was busy, wasn't it, on that Friday night, but I'd suggest this might be the busiest. Willie is up to the wicket. He bowls, and Ahmed from his first delivery glances this into the offside. Oh, and there's a mix-up for a run-out, but the throw comes in at the wrong end. Came in at the wicket-keeper's end. Rahan Ahmed was completely stranded at the non-striker's end, and had it gone there, then we would have had the first wicket. But Ahmed and Hanscom's communication all over the shop there, but they survive, 4 for no loss. And it's was it leg bye given in the end?
It was, yeah. I think if the throw had hit, I think Hanscom would have been gone as...
Probably. But he was aiming at one stump,
yeah,
wasn't
he was, correct, yeah.
As Willie runs in, left arm up to the wicket, bowls, and beats Hanscom outside edge. Well, outside his outside edge. He was fending it, that Hanscom. Had a little nibble. So there is no run. It squirted out to point, and it was Zaib who... Well, you're getting shouts, aren't you? You're getting shouts from who to throw, and they may have said wicket-keeper's end. He looked aghast, did Zaib. Came to McManus on the bounce, missed opportunity for Northamptonshire. Corporate tent on the far side of the ground is bulging with people as Willie comes in. Bowls and has knocked back Hanscom's off stump. An absolute ripper from the ex-England international. Must have just moved away from him a touch, but it was a jaffer to the right-hander, and Hanscom has to go, and the first wicket in Leicestershire's chase has gone, and the Foxes are 4 for 1.
It looked from this distance a pretty decent delivery, because he was a little bit squared up. Looked as though it might just have held its own off the seam. We'll have a look at the replay. Hit the top of off stump, and poor Peter Hanscom, his first innings as a captain at Leicestershire, does not end well. Here comes the we're not going to see a replay straight away. Hopefully we will in due course. We'll see just how good a ball it was.
Yeah,
too good for Hanscom, whatever.
Absolute ripper it looked like from this angle. We are at sort of what, fine leg at the moment from the Bennett end, which is where Willie is bowling from. And here comes the key man, really, Richard. Rishi Patel, top scorer. And you feel he's got to get some runs today as Willie comes in. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and he's clipped through mid-wicket, and he should get at least 2 here, Patel. The fielder is chasing, and it's well stopped out there in the deep by... Tie out there, no, it's Broad, yes, you're right, and who fields tumbling to his left, and that is the end of the over. 6 off it, but a wicket has fallen, and Leicestershire's chase off to a bad start. They're chasing 211, they're 6 for 1, they need 205 to win their third T20 last game of the season. They've got 19 overs to do it.
I think they've tried to show the replay a couple of times, they haven't quite managed it as yet. But you'll have to take it from us, it was a pretty decent delivery. Well, Sanderson is going to open the bowling for Northants from the pavilion end, and I have a feeling this could be his sort of track. The Yorkshireman, very straight run, burly man, well, spears it horribly down the leg side, looks back in disbelief. That was a genuine wide down the leg side, no chance at all for McManus diving across to his left to get there, and it's run away for 4 wides. That was remarkable. I was just giving him the big build-up and all that praise. Spears it 4 feet down the leg side, goodness me.
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting that.
It does sometimes, if you haven't been here for a while, take a little bit of getting used to again. He has bowled plenty of times here, Ben Sanderson, so he does know what it's like going up the slope. In he goes and bowls, and that's a better, straighter delivery that Ahmed on the back foot turns out towards mid-wicket Gay Fields, and there is no run.
Sanderson bowled, I'm just going to look at the figures, but from memory, bowled pretty well. Yeah, 3 for 25 up at Wantage Road.
11 wickets overall in the competition. in 7 matches. This his 8th. Goes in and bowls again straight, again slightly short of a length, doesn't really move. Ahmed tries to force it away off the back foot through the offside, goes straight to the man at cover, who is Tom Taylor, formerly of this parish. 11 for 1. Ahmed, eyes will be on him again after his call up. He'll want to do well. Slipper's gone in though, as Sanderson is in. Ahmed backs away. Sanderson follows him, tries to work it off his hip. Doesn't get anything on it. Came off the pad, top of the pad, maybe even the thigh pad. Runs away towards backward square and is fielded. They do take a single, however. Leicestershire 12 for 1. 9 legitimate deliveries bowled. Ahmed 4 deliveries, yet to get off the mark. Patel, bat raised very high, waits as Sanderson is in, bowls to him, hits him on the pad. That will be another leg by as Gay runs across and fields from mid-wicket. Umpire White raises his left knee to the scorers, 13 for 1.
Interesting to see if Ahmed does play for England. It's a fascinating, bold pick. We've seen his batting in the county championship, but we haven't seen much of his bowling, which you'd imagine is why he has been picked.
Sanderson in, down the leg side, seemed a little bit, but it was wrongly directed. This time McManus running to his left. Fields takes the catch, but it is another wide.
Bit of a flat start. They were hoping for an explosive one, I would think, by sending Rahan Ahmed out there.
Sanderson in again, bowls to him. This time he is off the mark as he manages to work that slightly short of a length delivery out towards mid-wicket. Gay can't get there, but one of the 2 men out is on the leg side. It's Saif Zaib, and Ahmed takes 1. He moves on 2-1 off 5 balls, 15 for 1. Sanderson to finish what has felt like an extended over with those 2 wides in it. If this one is legitimate, in he goes. Bowls to Rishi Patel, who's looking to drive, doesn't really get it. Comes off a thick inside edge, runs out to Gay at mid-wicket, and there is no run. End of the second over. 15 for 1 is the score, and as with Northants, we're seeing that the batter's just taking a few deliveries to get used to the slightly two-pace nature of the pitches. One of the Harleys goes up the Milligan Road.
Yeah, we've just seen the two-pace nature of the pitch, and what Northamptonshire did, and did very well, was they sort of gave up on trying to time it after a while and use brute force. We'll see what they do here. Rahan Ahmed is going to face Willie and clips him through mid-wicket. Yes, it's square than that. It's more just forward of square towards square leg, where it's fielded. And the single is taken. Ahmed hasn't particularly timed the ball well so far, although he did okay with that one. 15 for 1. 16 for 1 is the score. Leicestershire acquire 195 to win this game, chasing 211. Willie moving in towards us now. He's up to the wicket. Rahan Ahmed Patel tries to make room and carve this through the offside. He hits it straight to mid-off. It's been a relatively high scoring night across the rest of the division in the North Group. And the games that have gone ahead, we've had delays up at Durham against Yorkshire and Lancashire against Derbyshire, but Birmingham against Worcestershire. Birmingham getting 228 for 4 in that top of the table clash. Willie past the umpire now, bowls. Patel cuts for 4. That was a nice shot. He was onto that quickly. Willie just a fraction short. He was latched on too quickly by Patel. He's not going to miss out on a bit of width, and too short of bowling, and there's 4 runs, and that is the first 4 off the bat, Richard, if I'm not mistaken. First 4 at all in this innings.
Well, there were the 4 wides, but
right.
Yeah, you're right. It's first off the bat.
So, hello. 191 to win then. 20 for 1. Patel onto 6. Willie, left armour. Bowling over the wicket, he's in. Bowls and Patel tries to thwack that across the line, but it tucked him up for space. That ball from Willie must be just be moving it in a fraction. And so Patel good enough on it, but he only played it straight to mid-wicket and there was no run. Kent have also done very well tonight, 228 for 3 against Middlesex. Sussex 182 for 6 against Glamorgan. Essex towards the end of their innings against Hampshire, 172 for 6. Patel, 6 not out as Leicestershire chase 211. Faces Willie and drives him, and they'll get a single as it splits mid-wicket and mid-on. But again, he didn't time it at all, Patel. 2 balls left in the over. It's not coming on. Pleasant evening in Leicestershire. Again, that high cloud has been a constant, but it's just dissipating slightly. We can see patches of blue sky across the city of Leicester. And Leicestershire all in green, facing Northamptonshire in navy blue, as in comes Willie. Blonde-haired, up to the wicket he bowls, and Rian Ahmed jumps and beautifully places that. Again, just in between the mid-wicket and mid-on fielders. And so that is the end of the 3rd over. Leicestershire 22 for 1 in pursuit of 211. They're going at 7.3 and over. The required run rate is already at 11.1. And to repeat and reiterate, they would have hoped for a faster, a more explosive start than they have got. That's probably why they put Rian Ahmed up at the top of the innings. That early wicket of Hanscom would have hit them hard, but they haven't had an explosive start.
Sanderson from the pavilion end is in to Ahmed, hits him on the pad. It's going down the leg side, although he did turn to appeal as it bounced off the pad out into the offside. No chance of that one being answered in the affirmative. Dot ball though, which sometimes feels almost as good in this form of the game. Sanderson turns. Likes to start from a standing start, not one of those who turns into his run. Bowls to Ahmed again on the legs. This time Ahmed manages to get something on it, working it away through square leg out towards Safe Zabe, who's in front of the popular seats there, in front of the nets, the net area. Takes 1. Struggling still a little bit to get the ball to the boundary. 4 off 9, 23 for 1. Patel 7 off 7, the more powerful of the 2 batters at the crease at the moment. Sanderson is in to him. He's trying to swing that one away into the leg side. He is being caught off the pad. It came off the pad and looped up. There's no appeal from Northamptonshire. McManus taking the catch, but another dot ball.
It's been a sign of Leicester's campaign that they haven't just been able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. You can argue that, particularly Zaib's innings, he did wait, he was patient. But again...
And it paid off, didn't it?
It did.
Spectacular fashion in the end. Sanderson is in, and he's caught behind Rishi Patel. He tried to step across and ramp it. He did, but all he managed to do was get enough on it to help the ball straight into the gauntlets of Lewis McManus. So one of Leicestershire's main hopes of success, or of achieving any sort of competitive score, any sort of challenge to the Northamptonshire score, has gone early. Rishi Patel caught behind for 7, they're 23 for 2.
Yeah, and that feels like a big blow. Patel looked aggressive from the outset, couldn't really connect, but again, you felt like he had the right impetus, the right idea. And he's been their best batsman, no doubt about it, in every format so far. Top scorer in the county championship, top scorer in the T20 Blast, but he has to depart it. What felt like a very positive place, Grace Road, at the start of the day, despite everything that's happened, is now very flat indeed, Richard. Even VL Mulder's fan club at the far end of the ground isn't making a lot of noise anymore.
Sanderson in to Ackerman, and he's bowled, he's chopped on. He tried to carve it away through the offside, got the inside edge, straight onto the middle stump. Ackerman comes and goes in the space of one delivery, and Ben Sanderson is on a hat-trick.
Okay.
And I think that's that, basically.
Yep, I probably agree with you, Richard. You look at his recent form, Ackerman, he was unlucky. You'd definitely say he was unlucky against Yorkshire, but that's 2 golden ducks in 4 innings. His last 5 T20 knocks, 8 golden duck, 4-3 golden duck. Not been his fortnight or 3 weeks.
No.
You get the sense it's been a tough day for Colin Ackerman. Great news for him from a personal perspective in moving to Durham, and what he hoped will be a new start for him. But no longer the captain of this team, and now out for a golden duck. And 3 wickets have fallen inside 4 overs. Sorry, there's some very well-meaning people there just popping. So we're right in the middle. We're right by one of the stands. So somebody just came up and was shouting to one of their friends.
Oh, I think we named it. He's called Ben.
Yes.
Vian Mulder's come to the crease.
Wearing some very fetching
Hawaiian clobber
short shirts. Yeah, I'm not.
Well, actually, I don't know. Sleeveless Hawaiian clobber of sorts.
It's a shirt without the
sleeves.
Without the sleeves. But you know, how else do you show the fabulous guns, Richard, and wear a shirt?
The stewards come up to have a word, but they're okay. They're okay. Sanderson on a hat-trick is going to come in to bowl to Vian Mulder. From the pavilion end, comes in and bowls. Mulder is careful, walks forward, plays defensively out into the onside, fielded by Gay, and it is the end of the over. And what an over as far as Northamptonshire are concerned, just the 1 run from it and 2 wickets, and he has delivered a pretty deep blow, a pretty deep wound to Leicestershire's cause there, Ben Sanderson, as he often seems to do. Foxes after 4 overs, chasing big score, 211 to 23 for 3.
Let's have a look at where Northamptonshire were at this stage. They were 28 for no loss, which feels like, even though it's just the 5 runs, those 3 wickets make a big difference. Taylor, the ex-Leicestershire player, bowls, and Ahmed, who's seen the carnage at the other end, plays it down the ground, but it's completely missed by Andrew Tye, running in, trying to pick it up one-handed, and it just went straight through him. So what turned from a dot ball into a 2 for Rahan Ahmed. He moves on to 6 of 10 deliveries. He struggled in this knock so far. 186 to win for Leicestershire of 15.5 overs. It's a mammoth task from here. Probably Ahmed and Mulder are going to have to play the innings of their T20 careers, as Taylor comes in and beats Ahmed outside the off stump. He went driving for it, flashed past his outside edge. Dot ball. That run rate already at 12 and over. Leicestershire going at less than a run a ball right now. 5.8 and over after 4.2. And what's the stat? You lose 60 to 70% of games that you lose 3 wickets in the power play. I'll lose 3 wickets minimum. Taylor, blonde-haired, big tall man, runs in towards us. He bowls. It's a straight delivery, driven by Ahmed. He puts his head down to runs to shy the stumps. Appeal for a run-out. That's going to be very close. The umpire was backing away. There's hands on hips from the Northamptonshire players. They definitely think Ahmed was out.
He wasn't running his bat in, really.
You're right, it was close, certainly.
See that one again. I don't think he was running his bat in there. He was a bit casual there, was Rahan.
He was. It's very difficult. The umpire is running away from the non-striker's end, from behind the stumps, and so you've got to give the benefit of the doubt to the batsman. He's got it there, Ahmed.
Yeah. As replays go, that isn't the best. Just the appeal.
Taylor then, right arm. In he comes, and he's driven by Ahmed, beats his outside edge again. Nice start this from Taylor, 12 on his back. Started his career at Leicestershire. Moved to Northamptonshire, 2021.
Yeah, that was a blow, that Tom Going. He's a very effective all-rounder on his day. Don't know if he's sort of come on as much as it was hoped he might. He did a good county all-rounder.
Well, he's bowling to Mulder, facing his third delivery, and he's beaten outside the off stump again. This is gorgeous stuff from Taylor. He's getting the ball to move a bit, and VR Mulder signals so with his hand, just showing the flight and bounce of the ball. I think he's getting a bit of seam movement out there, Tom Taylor. Just 3 runs off this over. Just a reminder, Leicestershire are chasing 211 to win, and that required run rate is picking up with every delivery. Leicestershire just aren't able to match it. Mulder yet to get off the mark as Taylor bowls to him. He drives, he does get now off the mark, but drives it to mid-off, and the single is taken. And so we are heading towards the final over of the power play, and I'm willing to be wrong here, Richard, but I think we've had 1 boundary off the bat.
Is there anyone that I can think of yet?
That is correct. Patel hit 1 boundary. There's 2 men out on the boundary. Leicestershire cannot get it away. They cannot start the big hitting. They cannot put any pressure on this chase. 27 for 3 is the score. Leicestershire require 184 to win this game in 92 balls. They're already at 2 a ball.
Ahmed 7 off 12, Mulder 1 off 4. Asks Sanderson just to wait a moment. Now he's ready to face. Sanderson is in, outside off stump. Mulder wafts that one, it bounces through into the gloves of McManus, and there is no run. I know that Mulder, he is distracted at the moment. There are other things happening in his life, and it's difficult for him at the moment with things off the field, and not just the departure of Nixon. 27 for 3 as Sanderson is in, edged, caught behind. Mulder, he's gone. He's asking McManus, did it carry? Yes, it did, and Sanderson has picked up a 4th wicket. Mulder goes caught behind for 1, and Leicestershire are 27 for 4. And if we thought things were bad in 1 or 2 previous games, they're looking more than bad here. They're looking absolutely shocking, frankly.
It feels a bit sad. Do you know what I mean? It feels a bit sort of. I feel just watching Mulder trudge off there, looking a bit like he didn't really like it's just not a nice place to be, the club at the moment, and you can imagine that it isn't. But everybody looks a bit despondent, don't they? A little bit low, and they're playing like that at the moment. And Mulder's a lovely man, brilliant cricketer, but he was just wafting at deliveries outside off stump. Northamptonshire just seem to be finding it easy, and they've lost 4 wickets in the power play. The run rate is nowhere near enough. They're going at 5 and over. And you've got 2 big hitters now, the people who have got the potential to be big hitters in Ahmed and Welsh. But this, I'll be honest, it feels gone already.
Yeah, very much so. Sanderson, 3 for 8 from 2.2 overs. There's no real sort of triumphalism about Northants. They kind of know that they're all pretty much out of the competition, even if they win their last 2 games.
They do have a good net run rate, which may help them. It's
you
in the
never
positive.
know. They could finish on 14 with a decent run rate, then couldn't they?
Yeah.
You never know, but it's an unlikely prospect. In goes Sanderson, bowls to Welsh, who pushes out to mid-on, has to dive in, which doesn't actually have to do in the end because Tide juggles with the ball before finally getting his throw away, by which time Welsh had obviously made his ground. 28 for 4.
This has been a really, really difficult T20 blast for Leicestershire.
It's not been a lot of laughs, has it?
It's been a really, really horrible week
for them. A lot of
them.
joy, one way or another. 2 games to go after this, away to Derby and away to Nottinghamshire. In goes Sanderson, and off the back foot, Ahmed just pushes the delivery out into the offside. It's fielded at mid-off, and 1 is taken. 29 for 4.
I don't know. I presume this is the worst T20 performance from Leicestershire.
I can't remember many. I don't know about history, but I can't remember many worse in my time. In goes Sanderson, bowls, good delivery on off stump, waiting for it is Welsh, and then playing with a slightly angled bat, making sure he gets it down through the gully area, runs down to third man, one is taken. 30 for 4, 1 ball to go in the power play, at the end of which Northants were 49 without loss. Leicestershire at the moment 30 for 4 with 1 ball to go. Sanderson in, bowls outside off stump. Driven off the back foot, but without really timing it, Ahmed, and it runs straight out towards point on the edge of the circle. And that is the end of the power play. Just 3 runs off that Sanderson over and another wicket. 1 off the 4th over, 3 off the 5th, 3 off the 6th, 30 for 4.
Oh, my tickets.
Could there be?
I definitely haven't won.
6-1?
61308. No, 619.
I thought for a minute you'd said it.
It's £500.
Yeah,
right.
no, they're deep. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's well worth entering on nights like these.
Wow.
Sadly, your commentators are not going to. There's no compensation at all, no consolation at all so far.
You're listening to Live Gambling on BBC Radio Leicester as in comes Taylor, and he's driven by Welsh up to mid-off. Just to explain, there's a raffle, so I bought some tickets, and I haven't won.
It is all a good cause. The Friends of Grace Road, who at the end of each year contribute very substantial amounts of money, usually sort of 5-figure sums, you know, 10,000 plus, go to the club, and they go on specific things that they choose what the money is spent on.
In comes Taylor, starting his 2nd over. He's up to the wicket. It's flashed by Ahmed. No foot movement at all. He'll just get a single out to point. Just to reiterate, it's the end of the power play, so the fielders can go out now. 31 for 4. Leicestershire are going at 5 and over right now. Have they still only got 2 men out? No, I think they do. Yeah, they're bringing deep points in. So they've got deep square leg and fine leg. So they're still playing as if it is the power play. Is there a man down here? They've got a 3rd man, but they've got 3 men out.
I think that says quite a lot, doesn't it?
As Taylor is in. He bowls down the pitch, comes Welsh and tries to hit this, and there's the 4. And a semi-ironic cheer goes up at Grace Road because Nick Welsh came charging down the pitch, pulled it round the corner for 4 runs and split those 2 men out in the deep rather handsomely. Nice shot from Welsh. And the score moves on to 36 for 4.
It's been a frustrating campaign for Nick Welsh because he kind of has been in form all the way through and has had so many starts, 6 times to 30, and as we've pointed out,
never got beyond 40.
40 is the best.
Taylor, in he comes. Welsh faces and beats him outside the off stump. Taylor's bowled some really nice stuff. It's just been line and length, really. If you were telling him, who were playing a county championship match, you'd be telling him he was bowling well. That's a lovely ball. It's got a bit of bounce off the seam.
Through, didn't it? Yeah.
Bit of an angle in from Taylor. And that's causing Ahmed a lot of trouble. Sorry, Welsh a lot of trouble. It's also causing Ahmed a lot of trouble at the non-strikers then when he's faced him. He's 9 off 15. Leicestershire 36 for 4, chasing 211. In comes Taylor. He's up to the wicket. Down comes Welsh, misses it. And it goes through to McManus. Dot ball.
There's a hint of desperation there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It wasn't a convincing whack down the wicket.
Nice mild evening. Sun beginning to set. 2 days past the summer solstice, so we will have a late evening. You can just see the floodlights doing a little bit of work now. The shadows lengthening across the field as Taylor runs in towards us. He's up to the wicket, he bowls. Oh, and it's a good Yorker, that's a beauty. And Welsh again misses it. So despite the 2nd boundary off the bat coming in that over, that is the end of the 7th, 36 for 4. The run rate up to 14 and over already, and sorry, 13 and a half and over. And they're going at 5 and over. They're going at Leicester to run a ball in pursuit of 211. And they require 175 to win this game in 78 balls.
Sanderson is going to finish off, and well, he has almost finished off Leicestershire with his 3 for 11 from his first 3 overs. Foxy Field forecast he'd get 4 for 12. One of the Leicestershire long-term supporters, and at the moment it's not looking a bad prediction. Sanderson into Rehan Ahmed, hits him high and straight, and it is going to be far, and oh, it's just short. It was just short. About 6 inches short of the ropes at long off down below us. Peter Willey was up at mid off, so it was a good straight hit and a fairly safe one by Ahmed. Wasn't entirely convincing, but he got plenty of it. Defiant blow.
No foot movement whatsoever. Bit of a baseball shot. But yeah, he got enough on it. There's no fielders out, you might as well go for that. And if you go full-blooded at it, its likelihood is you'll get away with it.
Andrew Ty has been put down at long off now, and Willie has gone to mid on. Sanderson in again to Ahmed, hits him over Willie. Might have enough, yes it does have enough, bounces and gets a little bit of momentum from the slope. And Ahmed follows his previous boundary with another. So consecutive boundaries making a little bit of a mess of Sanderson's figures. Rehan Ahmed defiant out there. 44 for 4. Ahmed onto 17, but off 17 balls.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you sense this has all come a little bit too late. We are a third of the way through the innings, over a third of the way through the innings. And now we have seen Ahmed do what Saeed did well, what Gay did well in the Northamptonshire innings, which was just start to whack it, just to take the impetus on yourself.
But they went on, can he? Both went on past 50. Sanderson in, bangs it in short, doesn't really get up. Ahmed wasn't quite sure how to play that one. In the end, he almost let it hit him on the body. He was, do I duck? Not sure. Not going to get down low enough. Ball didn't get up that much. And he sort of wore it, essentially, had to in the end. I think he's okay. Wanders down and has a word with Nick Welsh, who shakes his head as he walks back down, but just didn't get up in the way that he thought it was going to. Andrew Ty is coming back up from long off to mid off, and Willie is going back from mid on to long gone. Now Ty, having come up, is being sent back, and long leg has come up to short fine leg. Sanderson is in. Ahmed again off the back foot, works it wristily as ever into the leg side, but only as far as Gay at mid wicket, and it's a dot ball. Heldrick coming up from long leg to short fine. He might be bowling soon, doing some sort of stretches without stretching, if you know what I mean. Heldrick. Now Gay has been sent back to deep mid wicket, and third man is coming up to the edge of the circle. So the men out in front of square, third man and long leg both inside the circle. Sanderson is in, and it's again minimal foot movement from Ahmed as he clips out towards mid wicket. He wants a second as Gay comes running in, but Welsh disabuses him of the notion fairly quickly. It was a good chase in and throw from Gay. Ahmed onto 18 off 20. Welsh 7 off 7. Sanderson has one ball to go in his spell. 3 for 20 he has now. Crowd is
There's a sense
resigned,
of irony,
I think.
Yeah, there's a sense of irony and sort of ironic enjoyment about the whole thing right now.
Yeah, they want to enjoy themselves, but they're not really being given much cause, really. Sanderson is in, drops a little bit short. Welsh tries to pull him, but it's a slower ball, and he pulls far too early. It bounces over the top of the stumps and into the gloves of McManus. Sanderson is done, 3 for 20 from 4 overs. I suspect he would have probably taken that if offered beforehand. And after 8 overs, Leicestershire's chase, the 2 consecutive fours from Ahmed notwithstanding in that over, has limped to 45 for 4.
Still not going at a run of ball. 166 to win this game, chasing down 211. So that's 72 balls they've got to do that in. And Now we're going to go for spin. Freddie Heldrick will bowl from the Bennett end, as Leicestershire are really struggling here. Heldrick, tall man, tall spinner, will bowl. Back goes Ahmed, cuts and out square into the offside. So that it just goes behind square. Bit of spin on that, and Zaib fields. Ahmed on to 20. Not quite as aggressive as I thought he might be, but he would argue he saw himself in. He's got that right as an opener, which he is today, and now he's trying to hit out. Heldrick, left armer, tosses this one up, and it's in the slot, and Ahmed treats it with disdain and hits it. Has that gone over the indoor nets, or did it just land inside the balcony, into one of the balconies? Big hit from Ahmed. It was a pretty rank delivery, too full, half volley length, and Ahmed launched into it and gets 6 runs from it. So he moves on to 26, 53 for 4, 158 to win. Keeps going like that. He might put a tiny bit of pressure on them. Heldrick goes in, that's a good delivery, flat and quick on a leg stump line, and Ahmed can only, with a sort of helicopter motion, whip it away on the leg side straight down the pitch to long on, where it's fielded by Ty. Heldrick, brown head, he's a tall, slim man. Will get a bit of extra bounce with his left arm wrist spin. And he moves in towards us now. He's up to the wicket, he bowls. And back goes Welsh. Oh, and he'll feel unfortunate there. He cut it. Thick outside edge, but there's a fielder there at short third man who dived to his right to stop it. So the single is added, 55 for 456 to win. In comes Heldrick. And again Ahmed goes big and gets 6 more over the side screen, crunching into the press gallery on the far side of the field. And that's another big hit, a lusty blow from Rahan Ahmed, who just is up the pace now and has had enough, seen himself in, knows that they're not going to win this game or have any hope of competing by waiting around. He moves on to 33, his highest score in this competition this year. Not sure what his best ever T20 score is, you know.
I'll find it for you.
It's 33, so
there
he's
you go.
levelled it. In comes Heldrick. And again Ahmed goes big, and again he's got 6 more. Big hit from him, into the crowd it goes, it's dropped by somebody in the crowd, and finally we've got a bit of excitement. There's the big over from a Leicestershire perspective. They're still well out of this game. They've basically got to have that over, what, 10 more times if they're going to win the game? But Heldrick battered 22 off it, and Leicestershire 67 for 4 off 9 overs. They need 144 to win. They've got 66 balls in which to do it. That run rate over 6 for the first time, I think probably since the second or third over. The required run rate down a tiny bit, down to 13.1.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many more goes, and the Foxes are 60 goes, and the Foxes are 67 for 5.
Yep, you're right, that was the key partnership. And the 2 players who were capable of performing a destructive job on Northamptonshire. Welsh, even though he hadn't got a big score this year, had got the scores he's got in the 30s quite quickly and with some powerful hitting. Ahmed looks in decent nick, but that's a killer blow. And now Harry Swindles comes to the crease, not renowned, shall we say, for his big hitting.
You can give Rahan Ahmed more than useful support, though, more than capable. Harry Swindles,
though, don't they? They need
but they need them people going up both ends, don't they? In the way that Lynn and Zaib did for Northamptonshire. AJ Ty, 1 from 1 in terms of wickets from balls bowled. Turns Runs in and bowls to Harry Swindles, very straight, and Swindles pokes it slightly, nervously out towards mid-on. Willie picks up, hurls the ball at the non-strikers and hits the base of the stumps, but Ahmed, who had taken a couple of steps down the wicket, was alert enough to have got back into his ground, but good fielding, keeping the batters honest. And a docked ball. Tie in, bowls outside off stump, cut down off the back foot by Swindles, down towards third man. He's going to take 2 as Vasconcelos runs around the boundary in front of the hospitality marquee, rolls athletically, having fielded the ball, gets his throw away. Swindles off the mark with that 2, 69 for 5. Still need another 142 from 10.5 overs. Leicestershire, an unlikely prospect as Ty is in, and he doesn't let go of the ball. He just runs through the crease, not quite sure why. He will be relatively unfamiliar with coming up the slope here, and it is when you're running up it to bowl, you do feel it if you're not used to it. And it just threw him out of kilter there as he got to the
We've got a beach ball
crease.
in play, Richard, over on the over to our right-hand side. Oh, they've dropped it.
It goes Ty and bowls. Swindles looks to drive, does drive, but mid-off can dive across to his left to make the stop. Russell, is it Russell? The 12th man is on. Yes, the mustachioed AJ Russell. Not quite sure who might be off. A single is taken anyway. 70 for 5. Is it back in play, the beach ball in the popular seats?
It is, yep.
There it is,
yep. The fans have got a beach ball out. And
amusing themselves. Ty's ready to go, but Russell is being told to go wider at long off, so he has to turn around, go back to his mark. It's quite a long run, goes in and bowls short, and it's ramped into the air just wide of the man at short third, and it runs away to the boundary. Ahmed used it when cleverly. They didn't quite get all of it on that occasion, and just for half a moment it looked like Vasconcelos might be able to get to the ball. He didn't, and although he chased hard, he couldn't get it in time before it crossed the ropes either. So Ahmed, playing something of a lone hand at the moment, has moved on to 43 off 26 balls.
we've spoken about the fact that he has a habit of playing well when it's likely he's being watched.
Yes, he does. It goes Ty, bowls short. Ahmed tries again to uppercut it over the slip area and doesn't get anything on it this time. End of the over. 74 for 5 after 10. Leicestershire. Ahmed is actually the only Leicestershire batter in double figures at the moment, 43 not out. 77 for 2 Northants at this stage. So, comparison terms, you could say, well, 3 wickets lost more, but in terms of runs scored, not that much different. But remember, Northants 133 off their last 10 overs.
And they don't have the wickets to play with to be able to get that kind of run rate, really, or take the risk to get that kind of run rate. Mahan Ahmed is going to have to play the innings of his life, probably get 120 if they're going to win this game. 74 for 5 is the score, 137 to win for them, and they've got 60 balls to do it. The target is 211. So Broad, Justin Broad, will bowl at Grace Road. We haven't. It's been a famous Broad bowling at Grace Road in the past. It's not this one. As Ahmed comes back to Broad's first delivery, clips him away into the leg side. There's a throw at the stumps, but they come through for 2. Good running by Swindles and Ahmed. It was Swindles who played the shot in the first place, so he's now on to 5. 76 for 5 is the score, 135 to win. There's another lively group of fans somewhere around the ground. I'm trying to spot where they are, but you can hear the Leicestershire la la las from up here in the balcony. I think they're down below us somewhere. Healthy crowd in tonight, all in their pastel colours as Broad comes in. Swindles drives, and we'll get a single out to deep backward point. It's fielded by Zaib, 134 to win fielders out at the moment. That deep backward point, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, but both third man and fine leg are up. Noticed that more this season, this T20 campaign. They've brought those fielders behind square up more than I'm used to. Broad bowls, and it's hit high in the air over towards deep cover by Ahmed. He moves on to 44 with the single. Uppish but safe. Obviously tempting players to play the ramp and the things like paddle sweeps. Because you would have thought you often leave the fielders out in those positions behind square. Brought in, bowls his medium pacers, and this fielder coming round. Not quite sure what you describe that as. It looks too fine for a backward point. Seems like a deep gully or something, isn't it, that fielder there? The way they tumbled to his right to stop it. And a single was taken by Swindles. He's on to 79 for 5. In comes Broad, penultimate a ball of the over. It's edged by Ahmed, but he's got it over the fielders, and this could race away for 4. The fielder's chasing it. He's going to lose the battle. Behind square on the offside. I think it was Lynn running after it. He didn't get there, and so Ahmed gets another boundary. He's at least putting in that lone effort himself. That's his 4-4. He's on to 48, his best score in the T20 Blast. And as Richard has already said, he's basically playing Northamptonshire on his own at the moment. 128 to win. In comes Broad. Ahmed flashes uppishly, and it falls just short of cover. And that is the end of the over. Ahmed stands motionless, replays the shot afterwards. So at the 11th over, at the end of the 11th over I should say, Leicestershire 83 for 5, 128 to win. They need to go at 14 and over from here on in. They're going at 7.5. This feels like a foregone conclusion. Well, it is a foregone conclusion.
I guess while he's there, Rehan Ahmed, you never quite know.
And there's some entertainment for the crowd. If he's playing entertainingly, people who will come down and see this game, thinking about coming down to Leicestershire in the future, will say that they saw an England player hitting the balls to all quarters and playing an entertaining game. That is.
And it will be remarked upon in, you know, at a national level if he makes a decent score. Ty is in 2 Swindles outside off stump. He tries to, I don't know quite what he was trying to do there, sort of drive it off the back foot in a helicopter type shot, and it didn't connect. Ahmed's still the only Leicestershire batter to go into double figures. Hanscom 3, Patel 7, Ackerman 0, Mulder 1, Welch 8, Swindles 7, Ahmed 48, not out. He's leaning on his back watching as Ty runs in, bowls 2 Swindles, who pulls him over mid-wicket and does so successfully. Pulls him for 4, and he joins Ahmed in double figures. He moves on to 11, dropped short just outside off stump, and Swindles, not a tall man, was able to stay on the back foot and saw it early, pull well. Good shot, Harry Swindles. He moves on to 11 off 8 balls, 87 for 5. Swindles certainly won't give it up with Ahmed at the other end. Ty in, bowl. Swindles on the back foot, chips it in the air down towards deep mid wicket, comes running in. Safe Zabe gets his throwaway, keeps Swindles to a single. 88 for 5. Brings Ahmed back down on strike. Needs 2 for his 50.
Yorkshire's game against... I thought they were playing Worcestershire, but they're not playing Worcestershire, are they? Who were Yorkshire playing? It's been abandoned either way.
In goes Ty and bowls almost a Yorker, dug out by Ahmed. Plays it down towards long off, rolls fairly slowly down there.
It's against Durham, which ends Durham's chances of qualification, puts Yorkshire having played 13 on 13 points, so they've got to win their final game. That's a big blow for them. 16 points would have been very handy if they'd won that.
So Durham beat Yorkshire?
No, it was abandoned.
Oh. In goes Ty. Bowl short. Backing away is Swindles. Looking to cut. Gets a bottom edge and it bounces gently towards around about the second slip area. McManus dives to his right to make the stop.
You think Birmingham are through on 16. Worcestershire, having played 11 on 14, have got a good chance. Notts as well, played 12-14. Then Yorkshire played 13-13. Lancashire played 11-12. Derbyshire played 11-11. And Durham and Northamptonshire on 10 each.
Tie in, drop short, pulled by Swindles, and he's done very well again there because he's got it between long on and deep mid wicket out to the wide long on boundary for another 4. So Harry Swindles, a couple of really solid defiant pulls in that over, both travel to the boundary. 93 for 5 after 12, 10 from the over at this stage. Northamptonshire were 100 for 2, so again not much in it in terms of runs, but with those 3 extra wickets taken it does make such a difference.
Well, these two are batsmen, they are established batsmen. Ahmed 49 not out, and as you say, a 50 would be remarked upon in the national press as he comes in, and Ahmed hits this high. I don't think he's going to get it, unfortunately. He's going to be out for 49. Caught at backward point, and that is game, set and match for Northamptonshire. If it wasn't already, but Ahmed was the only person who had made anything like a score. That's disappointing. He's fallen one short of a 50, really. Going for the big shot, trying to increase the run rate, and the 6th wicket falls for Leicestershire. They're 93 for 6. Ahmed out for 49, and it's Northamptonshire's game.
Yep, 32 balls for Rehan.
Fans heading for the exit now.
Yep, they know that that's it. 93 for 6. Applause for Rehan Ahmed. I don't think it's just for the innings. I think it's for his the news of his selection. Better days to come, hopefully, for Rehan. And for Leicestershire.
He gave us a bit of entertainment. That 3 over 6 was memorable, and he's at least avoided humiliation for Leicestershire as a result of his innings, but they are very close to another very, very heavy defeat. They could get beaten by 100 runs here, Richard. It's unlikely, but I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if they're beaten by 80 runs.
No. And I mean, in T20 terms, obviously that is a heavy beating. Tom Scriven has come to the crease.
Broad will continue. He's bowling from the Bennett end. He's up to the wicket, and Scriven plays nicely, actually. Late cut behind square.
He's a good player. He's a genuine prospect, Tom Scriven. Good all-rounder.
Played very well in the one-day cut, didn't he, last year? One of the many young, talented players that Leicestershire have. They've just got to try and keep hold of them. Broad runs in, bowls, bangs this down. It's down the leg side, and so it'll be given a wide. Scriven tried to turn it round the corner, didn't get there, and so there will be no run. You're listening to BBC Radio Leicester live T20 Blast cricket between Leicestershire, set to lose their 10th T20 game of 12. And Northamptonshire keeping their faint hopes in this competition alive, as it's a straight delivery by Broad, played to Lynn, who's fielding a backward point, and there is no run. Sort of wish Leicestershire go out in a blaze of glory here. Just give it a go, see what happens. Swindles at the other end on 16. Sky's darkening here in Leicestershire as Broad comes in. Oh, he's bowled him. Scriven was left down on his knees, completely tucked up by that one. He may have got a bit of bat on it. He's certainly looking at his bat, but the key bit of information is that his middle peg is knocked back. The bails are splattered everywhere, and Leicestershire lose their 7th wicket. Scriven is out for a duck, and of all the defeats, and there have been plenty, and there have been plenty of tough defeats in this campaign, this feels like a real low ebb after a pretty low and difficult week for this cricket club.
Yeah, I think I've used the word nadir once or twice before in recent matches, but this is looking like this might be, well, we can only hope, the nadir in this competition, but as we say, there are still 2 games to come, including one at Trent Bridge.
Yeah. Their big rivals, Nottinghamshire, finishing off. I remember when we saw the fixtures, you sort of looked at that and you thought, what if Leicestershire need to win at Trent Bridge? And goodness me, that seems a long time ago. Broad, 2 for 10 off his 1.4 overs. He runs in now and he bowls, and it's driven this time by Finan, who is the new man. He will get a single down to a square third man. The ball is dropped by McManus, the ball over his head. Big old throw coming in from the fielder down there. And now we are into the tail. 3 wickets left for Leicestershire. We're going to be with you on all frequencies until 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to play in full the interview with Sean Jarvis that we had today. Exclusive interview as Broad comes in, bowls, and Swindles pushes it away behind square. And that's the end of the over. A very sorry over, quite frankly. 95 for 7 is the score. 2 runs off that, the 13th over. The required run rate is up at 16. I'm giving you this information, I guess, as a sort of academic exercise. 116 runs to win for Leicestershire from 7 overs to try and chase down a target of 211. As I say, we'll play that interview with Sean Jarvis, talking about the drama of this week with Paul Nixon removed from his post, 3 big players leaving at the end of the season too. So do stay tuned for that if you missed it pre-match.
Heldrick, having been severely punished by Ahmed in his first over, is going to try from the pavilion end. He bowls to Mike Finan, who goes back, just turns his wrists on the defensive push, out into the onside it goes, and he takes 1. He's coming over the wicket, Heldrick, the left armour. Bowls to Swindles, who reverse sweeps, and reverse sweeps to some effect. Backward point has to run around towards third man.
Sent short third man the wrong way, didn't he? Then he sent him running fine.
Sanderson tried to anticipate and got it a little bit wrong. He got more of it than Sanderson was anticipating, so he picks up a couple. Moves on to 18. Heldrick is in again, drops short. He goes back, swindles and pulls, but comes off the bottom part of the bat and rolls out towards Saif Zaib. On the square leg boundary, he takes 1. 99 for 7.
Swindles, to his credit, I think has played rather nicely so far. More aggressive than we've seen of him.
Heldrick is in to Finan, who also tries to pull. Umpire Adnan has to lift his leg smartly as the ball travels underneath him. Runs out to save Zaib. Finan takes 1. And yeah, if I was the announcer, I don't think I would have said the 100 had just come up. It was asking for it, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, heard the ironic cheers there.
Yeah, slightly even sarcastic applause as that one is cut by Swindles out to Broad on the cover boundary. 1 taken.
Do you think you would have, if I was the announcer, I would have gone, do I have to?
Yeah, but
yes.
I would, yeah. Yeah. Perhaps skip it this time. Heldrick is in, drops short again, fine, and tries to wipe it into the middle of next week. Gets it off, I think, a glove in the end. Maybe just the very top part of the bat. Mistimes it. Desperate, and it loops in a rather embarrassed fashion out towards square leg. Finan takes 1, moves on to 4. Swindles has 20. 102 for 7 after 14. A mere 109 needed then. From the remaining 6 overs.
So just the 18 and over from here on in, and Leicestershire will get their 3rd victory in the T20 Blast. As it is, I think the odds are probably in the favour of a Northamptonshire victory. Still unlikely they will get through. They need to win both of their games and hope results go their way. It's never happened that a team has got through with fewer than 15 points. Finan will face as Willie comes in to bowl his next over, and that's a thick outside edge. Finan again trying to smack that back into the back into the next county, but he misses it, took his eye off the ball. 102 for 7. Didn't even get a run from that. So it was played too short, a backward point rather. As Willie, ex-England international, runs in towards us. 1 for 12 his figures, and Finan tries to scoop him and manages it. Doesn't time it overly well, and either hit his glove or the top of his bat, and just evades the Lewis McManus, who, like most wicket keepers, is a small man, so just bounced over his head. 103 for 7, 108 to win. 3 wickets for Northamptonshire to win. Swindles takes his guard, number 28 on his back. He's all in green with a green stripy top. There's Willie, all in navy blue, comes bounding in towards him. Swindles moves across his stumps, tries to turn him around the corner. He's got a feather on that. It's caught by McManus, and the 8th wicket falls. Swindles trying to force the issue somewhat, but not getting anywhere near enough bat on it. There's a relatively small appeal from McManus and from Willie, and Swindles has to depart. The final of the batsmen has to trudge off. 103 for 8, and that's cause for more people to head out of the ground here at Grace Road. A sorry end to this East Midlands derby on a Friday night, what should be the big game for them. And Leicestershire in a very, very difficult place right now. And somehow they've got to pick themselves up, Richard, haven't they, for Durham on Sunday, the more important game for them in the county championship.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be, you find it very difficult to see how this team, without a head coach.
There will be changes, I guess. Wright comes back in, of course.
Willie, in he comes. He bangs this one in, and Parkinson leaves that. It's a no ball, a delayed reaction, no ball on height. And must have been given by the square leg umpire. It was over the head of Parkinson. I'm not surprised it's been given. Parkinson didn't even duck underneath it, really. It's almost stood entirely tall when it went over his head.
Got a few words from Willie then.
He did, yeah. As he comes in towards us from the Bennett end, he's up to the wicket, he bowls, and it's a slower delivery which Parkinson plays back to him. We've got 2 balls left. I guess part of the problem is you look at the wider issue and you want people to come down to Grace Road, don't you? Want people to enjoy cricket in this county, and they won't have done that hugely tonight. They will have seen bits and bobs blasted from the opposition, but also Rahan Ahmed. But Willie comes in, and it's a appeal for leg before wicket. It's not given. I think may have pitched down the leg side as Parkinson either got a bit of bat on it. In fact, the umpire hasn't signalled, has he? So it must have got a bit of bat on it. So another run to the total, 107 for 8. And if this was your first or second time coming down here and people asked you how it was, you probably would have gone, well, it's okay. But you probably go, Leicestershire aren't very good.
Yes.
They're trying their hardest. There are very decent people out on that pitch for Leicestershire, but it's just not their year. Finan comes down the track, tries to carve this away on the offside. It's a nice shot, actually. And Zaid takes it in mid-air, and that's the end of the over. That is the 15th, so we've got 5 overs left to be put through. And it's 107 for 8. Leicestershire require 104 to win, but more to the point, Northamptonshire require 2 wickets to win this game. The club music feels very melancholy, doesn't it?
It's quite hard, isn't it? People desperate, as you say, to enjoy themselves, but they're not really being given much cause. Heldrick is in to Finan, who smacks him over mid-wicket for a 1 bounce 4. Thumps into the advertising hoardings in front of the meat gentleman in a white jacket. Obliges Ty by picking up the ball, throwing it back to him. So, well, Finan has been... Parkinson. Yeah, Finan has been threatening violence, hasn't he? He's finally got hold of one. He's going to try a reverse sweep this time, reverse paddle, and miss it completely. I think he might be better just doing what he did to the previous delivery. He looks quite a good hitter, Mike Finan. when he's seeing it well, and he's going to see that one all right because it's going to hit it over the square leg boundary for 6. It was a long hop from Heldrick, who has not been good. The one Northamptonshire bowler who hasn't really done it in this game. He dropped it short, and Finan saw it early, eyes lit up, smashed it over square leg and picks up 6. 117 for 8. Finan on to 16. Heldrick is in, he's down the wicket and stumped. And missed it, it bounced, and again minimal celebrations from Northamptonshire. McManus remembered to keep the ball in his glove when he took the bails off. And Finan goes, stumped for 16. 117 for 9, Leicestershire.
Yeah. It's not Finan's fault Leicestershire in this position, and actually tried to play the way that maybe you needed to play. It was just to try and whack everything, give it a go. Why not? He's hit some decent shots in that 16. It's not his job to come in and win the game for Leicestershire.
Been a mess this.
Yeah. 117 for 9. And there's a very real risk they again won't get beyond 120 more than a run of ball. Trying to think of the kind of innings where you feel they posted a good total. Yorkshire, Derbyshire maybe, where they got up to about 170 here.
Heldrick is into Salisbury, who hits the ball into the ground as he attempts to drive it back past Heldrick, who dives to his right to make the stop. Jogs back to his mark. One ball left to finish the over. He is in and bowls. Salisbury is trying to... I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do there. I think he missed everything, went to Heldrick, through the wicketkeeper. No, he got a little inside edge, apparently. It went through McManus and bounced out towards short fine leg. And one is taken. Salisbury's off the mark. He has one. Parkinson has one. Leicestershire 118 for 9.
Look at some of these scores, though, against Worcestershire away, 150 for 9. Derbyshire at home, 187 for 5, that's not too bad. 164 for 8 against Northamptonshire. 126 against Yorkshire. As Ty bowls his 3rd over. Oh, it's a horrible delivery. He might have got away with that, though, because it was a slower delivery. It was a full bunger, but it just dropped right at the last instant, so it looked like it was going to be well over a waist-high full toss, but I think it went through below that. 112 against Worcestershire at home, 143 against Nottinghamshire. They're not going to get much beyond 125 in this game. As in comes Ty, he bowls another full delivery. He's just trying to York Salisbury, and Salisbury is not really equal to that. That missed the stumps by an absolute whisker. We're going to watch the replay now. Oh no, that's the delivery before, apologies. But that did miss by a whisker. It was a good Yorker. Oh, in fact, it just hit the seam, didn't it, the last moment? Moved away from the stumps. 118 for 9. Yeah. Salisbury faces as Ty comes in. Another attempted Yorker. Salisbury this time digs it out, plays it to mid-on. There is no run. The run rate with 3.3 overs to go is 27. Nearly 27. Well, this is as tough a week for Leicestershire as you can imagine, really. It's been capped off in ignominious style. In comes Salisbury, bowls, big hit from Salisbury, but he's hit it high up in the air. This is going to be game, set and match, and that's the game. And Leicestershire have been absolutely battered by Northamptonshire here. It is a sorry state, this club right now. They have no head coach. 3 of their best players will be leaving at the end of the season. This is a low ebb for them. They've been beaten by 92 runs against their East Midlands rivals, and they never looked like getting close to it. Their bowling was limp, their batting even worse. They have been destroyed by Northamptonshire, who keep their faint hopes of qualification alive in the T20 Blast. Leicestershire fall to their 10th defeat from 12 games. And they've still got to go through more. They've got to pick themselves up and play Durham here in the County Championship on Sunday. Sean Jarvis denied today to us on BBC Radio Leicester that Leicestershire were in crisis. That may be an exaggeration, it doesn't feel like it right now. 118 all out Leicestershire.
Very much Adam Whitty. As Adam was rightly saying, Leicestershire bowled out for 118, getting really nowhere near the total that they needed to take something from this game. And Richard, I mean, we spoke about this in the interval, didn't we, about exactly where Leicestershire were, I guess, were going wrong, and it wasn't picking up the wickets where they needed to.